IKEA meatballs found in the Czech Republic contain horse meat. And this is just his vendetta.
I mean, does it matter?
Well,
what's the difference between a horse and a cow?
Quite a practical move.
I'm just... It's not very PC to eat a horse because everyone likes horses. I'm
not the French.
Unless they explicitly say this is cow meat on the wrapping.
Don't say it's horse meat.
Yeah, but then that's a slippery slope, isn't
exactly.
it? Like,
all they say is burger, and a burger could be made out of anything.
But then, you could throw anything in there, right? Like,
yeah, that's what burgers are.
Cockroach.
Don't eat processed meat if you don't want to get caught out.
Alligator. That would be actually alligator and burgers would be good, but
do you know what goes into a sausage? It's disgusting. Even the best.
No, I don't mind the sausage thing because it's like waste not, want no. If you're going to kill that animal, you eat all of it.
Eat all of it.
And sausage is the most.
This is from your Welsh.
Yes. It's the Welsh heritage.
From the Welsh, yeah. we're just barbarians going around slaughtering things and eating it all.
Hello and welcome to Fangin Around. This is episode 40, recording this on the 25th of February 2013. I'm your co-host James and I'm joined to my left by...
Hello, I am Rhett.
Hello Rhett, how's it going?
I'm pleased to be here, James.
Lovely. And to your left?
Natalie. Since we're doing weird voices.
Yes,
And to my left...
Dobro večer, ja sam Julie.
Gotta always be classy, haven't you?
I don't know if that's particularly classy, but I thought that would be my gimmick. Every week I'll just use a different
I
language.
should have done a Welshie card. Smart Julie, I should need to sit behind you.
Rhett, what have you been consuming?
What have I been consuming? Well, I could, of course, I have, of course, been consuming Kung Fu. Is everyone
This is going to change. This is every week. It's going to be...
I do non-Kung Fu things too, which I could discuss.
If my sister would let me watch the Kung Fu movie of the week on a Sunday night, I would. But she makes me watch Downton Abbey or whatever song, so I rely on your
Downton Abbey's
update.
like a year behind this showing.
What?
They're all dead in the real world.
No spoilers, man.
I read the Daily Mail. I've never actually watched Downton Abbey, but I know everything that's going
First
on.
season was quite good. It's by the writer who did Gosford Park. I
Yeah.
love Gosford
What's
Park.
his name? He's like a big character.
Andrew Davies or something? No, that's the Pride and Prejudice guy.
He's got a really plummy background. 'Cause,
Plummy.
my dad always hires out like DVDs from the library, like the ABC DVDs. And one day I was bored and I watched one, and it's this guy, and he'd done like murder mysteries.
Julian Fellows.
He'd done these murder mysteries where he recreates what happened in these real life crimes.
Okay.
Like in South Africa, a socialite or a social man was killed. And it's like recreations where he just suddenly pops on screen and goes, now what we don't know is could this have happened, could that have happened? And it's pretty much just because he's this rich, like, high society guy and has these links to all these high society murders from 50 years ago. And yeah, it was just the weirdest thing I was ever watching because I was like, what's going on here? Like, what is this? Documentary, like murder mystery?
Yeah, crazy mashup of both.
Yeah. It was, he's weird though, but he's awesome.
Okay.
He's one of those, he's like Stephen Fry.
Oh, yeah.
So plummy, you can't stop listening to him. But back to your Kung Fu, I'm sure it can compete.
It's called the Magic Blade. No.
Strong stuff.
I was actually quite impressed by this Kung Fu flick. I rate it. I'll give my rating at the end. But,
How many nunchucks out of 10?
There was. Oh yeah, it was got to be at least a 7. No, it's
Nunchucks?
Maybe sneaking.
might be,
yeah, nunchucks would work.
Yeah.
Nunchucks would work. Well, this one, the guy actually had like his customized weapon. It was like a sword crossed with, pretty much crossed with a nightstick or a nunchuck. So you could, like,
But nunchucks are traditionally they're Japanese, aren't they?
yes, they are. Yes, especially with that
Kung Fu is not Japanese.
Okay, we'll go pole. Pole is a good Kung Fu weapon.
Well, I am ignorant, so I apologise to the Japanese community.
That's why I do explain the Kung Fu, get word out. Got the right terminology.
Not Japanese.
No,
I now know.
Anyway, it opened with this prophecy of this sort of guy, he was going to have his ass kicked by this other guy, okay, called Fu Hung. And anyway, he comes along, kicks his ass, but Fu Hung spares his life, and he's like, okay, yeah, cool. And but then they start getting hunted by all these assassins because there's this like Lord Wu who thinks, you know, he's like they're a big threat to him. This Lord Wu is like an evil martial artist, okay, and
Moustache.
Yes, there were lots of moustache stroking. I loved it.
Okay, sounds pretty promising.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of like ridiculous jumping off the screen. You know, it was jam packed, and I've got to say, like, one of the best bits were all the weird assassins that were sent against them. All the shadowy assassins. There was like, you know, like the chess master, the poetry master.
Poetry slammer.
No, it really was a yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
How does he kill? That's like Mark
Force of his words.
Yeah.
And I think the best assassin of all, of course, Devil Grandma. Devil Grandma, who was you know, specialty bombs, likes cannibalism. You know, Devil Grandma, right?
She made like tea cake with her victims' bodies.
She did, yes.
Really?
Did she?
She did. She
Bone meal.
She served up her bodies as food.
I need to
Are you
write
being
one of these
sarcastic? I can't
movies.
even tell.
No, I'm being dead serious.
all right,
I'm
okay.
being dead.
Was it little granny food, like cute little finger sandwiches?
I was like, oh dearie, you know, I have this like, haha, I have this soup here or this whatever, and it's like actually, you know,
The person's brother.
yeah, it's sort of like, so it was pretty brutal, but it was awesome. Yeah,
Is this the whole thing like I don't watch like real TV? Like, is this something that like it's a presentation? Like, hey, this is our kung fu movie of the week, or you just happen to notice that they're playing a kung fu movie at this time each week?
so the reason why is because SBS have been doing this amazingly douchebag move, which is putting on really awesome classic kung fu movies every Sunday at 10:30. And
So you're fresh and perky for Monday morning.
Monday is yeah. I'm not 100%, but I'm compelled to watch them. I'm compelled to watch them because SBS have them on.
But
It's
do they
isn't
tell
it-
you, or you just notice this?
Oh no, I just noticed.
Yeah.
And
So
It's
just
not
the
like someone
unofficial-
saying, "Hey, this
Yeah.
is SBU's Kung Fu Hour."
no, not at all. No,
Okay.
no. It's just what they do.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, there's even a couple of twists in this one, and I think I'll just finish by like the best line of the film is this guy is just like fed this girl who's starving girl in the street noodles, and she's like, "Oh, thank you. What's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, kind people don't have a name. Just call me." And he picks a flower, Daisy Flower.
I thought you were going to say those noodles are made out of your mother.
Yeah, so I think Devil Grandma had her rear handed to her at that point, so there was safely no cannibalism. Yeah. So
How many daisy flowers out of 10 does this one get?
I'd have 7.5 Daisy Flowers out of 10. Easily.
A compelling kung fu movie.
So yeah, that's really in depth one of the things I consumed, ate up.
I should start watching and get in practice for the Formula One.
What?
In practice for the Formula One.
That's on Sunday nights.
Oh.
when it starts.
You're going to watch that? You're going to sit down and...
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Formula One fan.
Yeah, right.
You're not? I thought all physicists would be into it. Like, it's the geekiest sport there is.
Is this like Cars?
Yeah. Just...
It's not like vroom vroom cars. It's like, you know, the world's most expensive piece of equipment flying around a track doing.
Oh, you
know.
mean where they have to do like the needle eye bit at the Grand Prix and all that? Like it's more skill than just speed?
Yeah.
No, I mean the thing about Formula One is it's not just like the actual engineers have the biggest say in who wins. So it's like which team is the smartest. You
Oh,
know?
so it literally is like the
geek
geeks.
sport, yeah. I mean, they
reign
have the famous
supreme.
drivers like you know Mark Webber, the Australian guy. Probably have heard of him. And
Are they geeks?
Michael Schumacher and that like that, but they just robots that drive the car. Basically.
So they're just like they've
part of
just
the
got
equation.
the instinct
The ego
for
is
driving.
actually getting in the way from the team winning usually. Like,
I'm learning.
You know, the coolest thing for me about the Formula One cars is how they're like batteries charge up when they brake, and then they can like press a button and get like this boost of power from their like charged up batteries.
the overtake button.
Yeah, it's wicked.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. But
This is a big gig. It makes so much sense now. Like all the people I know who are into it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They're into science.
I got to admit though, I don't actually watch. I don't watch the Formula One. I see clips and stuff. But
I was into it a bit in high school, and then I just lost interest when Schumacher went on his big run. But then I got back into it when Lewis Hamilton won his first world champion, and he won like the whole season, like on the last turn of the last corner of the last race, and I was like, oh my god. So then, and I regretted not watching the whole season, so then I got into it from then on. And since then, Sebastian Vettel's dominated, so it's gone back to being like Schumacher, but he only wins it because he has the best designing his car, basically. He knows how to start his car, unlike Mark Webber.
He knows things.
Mark Webber's this amazing driver. He just doesn't know how to start the car at the start of the race.
He's got a technical.
It's like every race he qualifies like first or second, and then he goes back like 5 places, and he spends the whole race coming back from 5 places down to second, and it's like, oh. Yeah. It's just like learn to start your car. You might actually get. You think you're paying $40 million a year to drive this car. Learn to. You think how to
You wonder
start.
how many. I mean, how much of a lesson would you need to learn how to start the car? Like, even if you have to take 2 weeks.
It's hard, but I think during Schumacher's day, they actually literally the drivers had to press a button and the computer did it before them. But they banned the starters' computers. So now you have to actually, get your foot and your accelerator going at the right time.
Yeah, sync everything up. Man, okay. Yeah. Car starting clinics.
Natalie, what have you been consuming?
Courtney Stodden.
All right.
I'm actually trying to find her now on Twitter. Yeah.
One of the 5 people you follow on Twitter.
Look, I'm really not that good at this.
Who is Courtney Stodden? So I'm sure I've asked this before. Have I just opened the...
Who is Courtney Stodden? She is, do you remember the guy from the Green Mile, Doug Hutchinson, married a 16-year-old a few years ago?
Also Toombs from Was it Toombs from X-Files?
Yeah, he was in X-Files. He was in Lost.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember hearing about that in the news? Like he married a minor.
Yeah.
He's lying. He doesn't remember.
No, I don't. But
No,
it's okay.
You just want.
Sorry.
She's amazing. She is just like ridiculous.
Oh, she was the 16-year-old that he married.
Yes, and
Okay.
yeah,
Is she still 16? And is
she's
she
18
still,
now.
and she's married to this bloke?
Still married to him. They have a dog together. I think the dog is called Dortney. And
They just
yeah.
Dorothy and Norton. Like we can't choose.
No. It's Doug and Courtney. Dortney. So it's like a Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck with Bennifer.
man.
Or a Peter Andre Jordan, Princess Tiam. Didn't they name their
They
daughter
called
something
their
ridiculous?
child Princess Tiam.
And it was a combination of...
of a few names that they liked.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Anyway, she's got to be in on it because she's always like putting herself in situations where she's in trashy clothes, stripper heels. She's really skinny with these big fake boobs. I think it's mainly just bra stuffing, but she's amazing. She's hilarious. She'll do these, and she's recently come out with a single called Reality with an accompanying music video which Doug helped direct.
Is it anything like Friday?
Friday.
Nothing's like Friday.
Oh,
That
it's
on par
there.
with. It's up there.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
All right, let me see. I need to find. Can we get it?
Oh, this thing,
not
this
working?
technology that I've been given to use
Is that the internet working this time?
No, it won't load.
Well, look, all I can do is provide my little review of her
Okay.
film clip. I think only James can understand this truly because he has also seen it. It's amazing.
Well, I don't know the context of it.
You don't need to know any.
I was just like, people like last week. I saw all these tweets come in saying, "Oh, Courtney Stodden's new video," and I was just like, "Oh, Natalie, why haven't you seen this?" You know?
Oh, I'd seen it. I'm like a big Courtney Stodden fan.
Yeah. Once it's sorry.
Yeah.
This is sorry. Pause for a moment. We just open it up.
And
Yeah.
it should be...
Yeah, and press the power button. It'll make a sound. No, not all the way.
Where?
Just once.
Booting up the second Mac. hold on to the seat of your pants.
These
everyone.
old 10-year-old Macs that are secondhand to the...
They
Like
could.
a fine wine. And we get
we can
better.
buy a new one if you like to flatter our podcast.
It's the only way these guys are going to be able to see Courtney.
The only way we're going to see anything is if I bring my PC next time.
Oh. Sorry.
I don't know if I want to be here for this gang fight between you and James.
PC versus.
We've already got the stalk off board
Yeah.
still up there.
Well, James won that one.
Can't we all settle on the third option?
What? I won.
Yeah.
You won. You've added some numbers to that. No.
Numbers don't lie, James.
What was the clincher? I think it
No.
was the... Oh, you went to the wedding.
Well,
Oh,
I didn't go to the wedding. I would have gone to the wedding.
But you couldn't get a date, like, as in, was it your friend
No,
kept
fake-
poisoning girls against you by
Yeah.
explaining?
It was fake marriage.
Oh my god. I love the reasoning behind it. I just love it.
But you actually went to outside people's house. There you go. I don't know what's different now, but it might right now.
Hey, the Mac has the internet.
Look, I can provide while they're waiting to view it. I can provide the some of the highlights of Courtney Stodden's reality.
Yep.
I don't know if you'll disagree, and I encourage discourse between us, James. But I think her choice of casting of a geek is hilarious because it's this obvious male model who just does not know where he's landed, and he's just looking around like he doesn't know what's going on, but they've just put a pair of glasses and like a dicky bow tie on him, and she dances up against him and at one point hits him with her boobs. Like,
That's a. Is there a name for that?
I
Dance
don't.
move?
It's not even like it goes from just little grinding to actually, like two very like
Some
identifiable hits.
Some form of daggering.
Oh, it is. Oh, that reminds me. I actually have to link a daggering video to my friend's wall because we were talking about it on the weekend, and I had no data on my phone. She could not get her head around the concept.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
If I had internet, I could show you. Okay, everyone, stop everything and watch this.
I think James got it up.
You have to
Well-
provide commentary. I'm not putting this in.
Okay, there's big words coming across the screen. She's very scantily clad, walking up to a.
you don't-
She's doing a Lady Gaga thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy holding like wearing glasses, so therefore geek.
She's going for sort of the Barbie doll look, right? I haven't seen.
I
She
love
looks like a
blonde
40-year-old
ponytails
woman
since-
pretending to be 16.
Who is? She's the new Anna
Nicole
Smith.
Smith,
Is that
yeah.
is that her claim?
Oh
Is she
my
going
god,
for-
it's just hilarious. The boob hit will come up soon. I'm waiting for it.
Well, there's very confusing imagery. There's like
This is-
pyramids,
she's
jelly
pyramids.
beans.
She's
But this is like, the climax of the song. God, guys. I actually know the song in my head.
You're
Where
feeling
did they
it in.
film this? Detroit? It's
It looks like, that AC/DC film clip where they just go down the street.
Oh yeah, a long way to the top. Maybe.
Yeah,
With,
it's like a
You're
gay
a long
version of
way
that.
to the top and one
You're a long way from the top, Courtney.
she is. Although she's.
this is
getting
the worst
people to-
directed video clip I've seen for a while.
I'm pretty sure Doug was.
Oh.
Why is there Egyptian
There's
imagery?
Cleopatra, now lollies.
Oh, the boob hit's coming up pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. It's in this context
Cameras
on the roof.
phone.
There!
Well, I think yes, and he is
It-
now sold after
It
the
was
boob
a
hit.
definite boob hit. Look at him, though. He looks half like he doesn't know what's going on.
He's
half,
terrified.
Half like he's really into it and trying to hide it. It gets really just uncomfortable to watch his facial expressions.
All right, now it's back in time. Now they're dressed up. Now imagery. It's like at the end of 2001,
I'm having
A
an
Space
epileptic
Odyssey,
fit.
Yeah.
where there's like these confusing colours flashing
There's
out.
the obelisk.
I think she is.
She's the
Have we said enough? I think we've said enough.
I think yeah.
Oh, she's coming up.
hey.
Yeah.
That's like a continuous boob hit right there.
There's
Alright,
just
you
only
guys
so
can
much
listen.
of
You
his
can watch at
moaning
home.
face I can
If you
watch.
don't want to Google Courtney Stodden
then you're
reality,
crazy.
I'll put it in the show notes so you can find it. Yeah, we have show notes. Did you guys know that? You can find them at fangaround.com. They should be linked to in the podcast if your app supports show note links.
Okay.
But you can find the majority of the links that we talk about. And if we miss something, you can add it in the comments.
And if you read
Help us
those
out.
links, if you actually read the show notes, you are doing more than we do.
It's funny the kind of stuff that people come to the website for.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of like, "Oh, man, I wanted porn," and then
Yeah.
there's like Fangin
That
around.
We're getting the Fangin website getting a huge amount of hits from people googling Rule 34, whatever it is, or 43, and then they
Right.
obviously they go on a Google image search, and there's this picture of Snuffleupagus banging Big Bird, and which I just linked to. But Google seems to think that I'm hosting on our website, which I didn't. I just linked to it. And now, so people search
Wow.
for these weird things. And they're scrolling through and they see Snuffleupagus banging Big Bird.
You know,
And that's just the people I can see, because like, look at Google now, if you're logged in under Google, it encrypts your search. You can't actually see what people are searching for.
yeah.
So I get heaps of hits. And I'm like, I wonder what they're
Yeah,
like, what are
yeah.
they searching
What are they
for to
searching-
get?
I mean, it's
Are
funny.
they searching for Snuffleupagus? And why is it coming to our site instead of the site that I linked to that actually hosts the image? I don't know.
Sort of like, I think once you get like a certain critical density of hits and you move up the Google tree, you know, because
Yeah.
people like, you know, you
Well, it's all
Google something-
Google image search, which is now just a continuous thing. So you can't go, oh well, it's on page 7 because it just goes on forever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't. Doesn't Google have something where you can like see, people what people are searching your linking to your site from based on what they typed in, or there's nothing like that, I guess. You just have to like go through every word in the English language, man, and just get on the internet, just sit down.
Well,
like, I'm
I
gonna
used to
find
do
this,
when
I'm gonna-
I was a youngin. I used to make websites like that, but they've Google to some extent has blocked those sites. So
Oh, okay, so you can't even just spam it to find out what words are linking to your site.
because they just go, oh, this guy's just using a bunch of keywords that don't make sense. Let's block him. Which I wonder if that happens for podcast websites. So obviously, all it really is just links to various things without actually people writing. Because obviously we're speaking. not
Yeah,
writing.
that's pretty much it.
If you listen to us
Yeah.
on Stitcher, Fangin on Stitcher, Stitcher's just on iPhones add this new feature called voice search sort of thing. And I haven't really worked out if it actually indexes what we're saying. It probably doesn't recognise accents, but they're actually examining every podcast that's submitted to Stitcher
Really?
and then doing the text to
Holy
voice to speech,
moly.
and then you can search that speech and use that as a search engine
Holy
to
God.
search podcasts.
We can actually get transcripts of Fanging Around. Is that?
Well,
Is
no,
that-
they're not offering. They're not offering that yet. And I wonder,
That
they
would
always
be-
have to localize the language. Like Siri, I think was a couple of months after
Yeah.
it went to the US, just because they had to
Make
adapt to the Australian
Siri-
accent. It took Microsoft 2 years to adapt the Xbox to the Australian accent.
We should
Really?
make Siri talk
Jesus.
a really Australian, like say really Australian
Yeah.
colloquial.
Well, they've picked an
things
Australian
and-
voice.
and
Like
see how
the Siri
not
here
bad.
sounds different to the Siri overseas, I think.
All right, so they
I still think
tweaked.
she sounds robotic though, so I just think it'd be really funny.
Well,
to hear her
it's a
say,
processor. Like on the Mac, the new voices on the Mac, on the latest Macs, sound a lot more natural, but you have to put that processing power on the phone, so
Yeah.
it's baby steps.
Does Siri recognize like funny act? Can you like talk funny to Siri one day? Like, hello Siri, connect me to address book. You know, and
let's-
will Siri
Let's test this. I've got
or
Siri.
does Siri learn? Is Siri like a learning machine?
Ask her.
Hello Siri. No, I have not finished talking, Siri.
You just press the button again.
Okay. Hello Siri, link me to address book.
Your finger's covering the microphone.
Oh,
Siri, well done.
Well, still hasn't. I've got a sport for Australian
Not
businesses.
Bad.
yeah. Is Siri actually useful at all in Australia in any way other
I
than
can tell
us
you. I can tell you
getting
the
her to
exact.
read
The only
dirty
things I
stuff?
ever use it is like if I'm cooking pasta, I go set timer for 10 minutes.
She doesn't even tell you if she's
No,
done it.
she's just
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
okay.
That's
Fine.
about the extent I use.
Oh, thanks for that, you useless bitch.
Just get narky with Siri.
Not like my alarm could do that. Do it without the attitude.
Well, the oven timer, but whatever.
Well,
No,
maybe-
but if you watch, then you have to stay in the kitchen to hear the oven timer. If you put it on your
What
phone,
oven
you can
timer
walk
have you
away.
got?
Huh?
What?
Just goes beep beep beep.
Oh, I've got like a really loud one.
If I go to my room and I'm editing
Yeah.
podcasts and stuff, I'm never going to hear the timer, you know.
I am always in the other room editing podcasts, so I never.
Well,
hear
you might be in the other room
anything.
watching TV or listening to your music or listening to other podcasts. What podcasts do you guys listen to? Do you listen to... Have you never listened to a podcast and come on Fangin around without ever listening to it? I know you've talked about barefaced stories.
Yeah. I technically have listened to podcast. Mm-hmm. So there's barefaced stories, and I mean, I've listened to online radio stations. Do they count as a podcast?
Yeah, that's what I was
Is
going
that
to count.
classified?
Like Sub FM. I've been there while my
You guys
friend
listen to
plays
online
on.
radio stations? Like Jimmerish FM. JimmerishFM.com. Jimmerish FM.
Jewish FM.
Gibberish
Search tune in for Jimmerish FM.
Okay,
If you can work out how to spell that.
Oh, I can. And yeah,
So what do you do while you're like cleaning the house or driving somewhere? You
I listen to Spotify.
All right. Just music.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those weird people, James,
and you
who listens
subscribe
to
to it, I guess.
music. Yes, I do. I kind of resent paying for it, but then again, I
You
actually
rent your music collection.
I use it a lot.
Yeah, right.
I've been listening to so much more music lately, so it's a little
Is
investment.
it? And does it recommend new stuff to you though? Is it Spotify one of those?
Oh, I keep getting
you may
these little things saying so and so's made a playlist and you should listen to it. And other than like my cousin sent me one and it was pretty cool, but other than his, I just can't bring myself to look at them all. Oh, and also one of my
Pandora just opened
friends
up in
is funny
Australia.
as
Have you
well.
tried that?
It's Pandora.
It's a radio station, but it guesses what you like.
I don't know. Like, how does that work?
I guess if you like search for a song, what's your favorite song at the moment? You like
Courtney.
Start reality.
and
And
they
you
were like,
start. I guess I don't actually use it, but I assume you start off with one song and then it makes a custom radio
they
station
just
just
have
for you based on that
a whole
song.
playlist of Rebecca Black's Friday.
Yeah.
I said that I'd listen to Reality by
Yeah.
Courtney Stodden.
Okay.
I think I'd be shamed out of the Pandora community.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, continue.
I mean, I do that
Yeah.
on my thing. I have Genius on my iPhone, but I have a 20,000 song library, so
Yeah. Okay.
that
Yeah.
follows me around the world on iCloud.
I pretty much listen to radio, community.
But I listen to
community
podcasts.
radio.
Music, I'm like, I've heard this song before.
Ever since Fatboy Slim stopped making, the roots music that he began with, it's just not worth listening to.
Well, there's,
Do you listen to podcasts, Julia?
Yeah.
The only podcast I've ever listened to is this one. So I don't think that's...
It's
You
just-
loved it so much.
Guys, welcome
You
to
had
Perth,
join.
Australia. They're just the most, like, not just isolated because of distance, but even when we have tools like the internet to connect us to the rest of the world, people here are like,
This is
Oh,
why
actually,
we
I
should-
lie.
Yeah.
I lie. I do listen to another podcast. I listen to several podcasts. What am I talking about? But they're intellectual ones. No, they're not.
This American Life.
They're called Hanging About.
No. Oh, I tried listening to NPR podcasts, but no.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast.
No, Skeptoid.
Brian
It's a
Cox's
podcast.
Skeptoid.
It's a 15-minute podcast, and it's just this guy, Brian Dunning, who he gets listeners to send in suggestions of conspiracies or just phenomena to examine in a skeptical way, and then he just kind of gives a rundown. And
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
it's really cool, and that's the first place I'd heard of that Dyatlov incident, which you have mentioned in your show notes. So it's quite cool, and it's only 15 minutes. So, and I also listen to Coffee Break French, trying to teach me French in 15 minutes. Doesn't work, but I rather like it. Très oui.
You must
wondering
travel
why
to a
there's so many
French-speaking
croissants.
country and live their life to learn the language.
C'est ton mot?
for 2 weeks and no speaking English.
Parlez-vous?
But Australians murder French, just putting it out there. Like, have we listened to ourselves speak? We're like, parlez-vous anglais?
S'il vous plaît.
Parlez-vous français?
Yeah. Oh,
Say va.
Comme ci, comme
say
ça.
that. Yeah. I have a croissant and
Je m'appelle James.
That's actually fairly good.
I was going to say, it's something a little too
Yeah, authentic there. You
broken
can't.
there,
Bon
James.
appetit.
It's not very Australian
Bonjour.
of you.
But then it sounds so
Bonjour.
wanky if you try and pronounce it properly. If you go into a
There's something about saying something really French, like my favorite French word, like one of two that I know, but I love it. Fromage. Fromage. Because you got to put that on the back of the throat.
et fromage sandwich, s'il vous plaît.
Where did that come from?
Cheese and ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Is that what you tell your wife?
Yeah. I lived in France for
Yeah.
Did you?
For 5 days.
5 weeks.
5 weeks. Oh,
I was going to say, that's not living if it's 5 days.
And only 4 weeks by myself with no English people around me. So
oh man, that's
I was
tough,
like,
had
I
you?
felt like I was in a foreign country, like a prisoner of war kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really strange when you don't know the language.
The nicest prisoner, prisoner of war
And
camp ever.
The only thing that's stuck is excusez-moi. I can't say excuse me. I have to say excusez-moi now. It's just stuck in my brain. 'Cause that's basically all I said for 4 weeks was excusez-moi as you're walking through people, or merci, bonsoir, which is good evening.
Yeah, right.
I love saying I'm sorry. It's just, je suis désolé. I'm desolate. It's it's got such a
J'adore chocolat. J'adore.
See, this
Love in
isn't
France
bad.
is
This
very
is
passionate.
actually like you're repping Aussies speaking French a bit. Most of us can't speak it.
I wish I had kept it up because I actually started to pick it up after like a few weeks.
Oh, it's never too late.
But you have to be in the country to do it. Otherwise, you just don't. These tapes and stuff they give you, useless.
you don't go tape, so you go.
But you know what you should do is just listen to a normal French podcast that's like people like us speaking French, that you're more likely to pick stuff up.
Or
by doing
you
that.
could watch movies.
Yeah, with
French
subtitles
movies.
or that.
No, you can watch them without subtitles. Like they've got really good movies in France. French
yeah.
Pretty art house.
Yeah. Like they've got a really good industry.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet.
Even though Gerard Depardieu, I think, has like renounced his
Jean-Luc Godard.
Frenchmanship now.
French. Can you do that? Can you just go like? Not
If you don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's something about taxes. He didn't want to pay taxes.
Move to Russia. Well, can't wait till they...
That's something's wrong.
Oh,
there.
and someone else, Brigitte Bardot, I think, is also moving, but she's a nut job anyway. So.
But yeah, they were taxing them a lot though when I read the article. But then again, it could have been a highly biased.
No, I
article.
think it's over 50%. It's something extraordinary. If you
It's
earn over
ridiculous.
$1 million, I don't know, euros.
Like
you
I'm
get
all for
taxed at an
taxing the
extraordinary
rich, but like it when I heard it, I was just like, I wouldn't even bother working for that much money if that was how much I was going to be taxed, because it was a ridiculous amount, and I was like, oh, I'm not handling it in the best way, being all melodramatic.
I
But
think on
maybe
you hit 47% in Australia, which is still like pretty much half your dollar for everything you make goes out the door.
It's fairly high. Good
Apparently,
Medicare system, though.
Gerard Depardieu is officially a resident of 1 Democracy Street.
One democracy in Russia. Was this his own little country that he's bought and said no taxes in my country street,
it's Depardieu.
my street state? Oh,
The tax top income's at 75%.
What?
Nope.
wow.
That was
See,
the
that is
proposal.
That is a lot. Like that is a lot of tax to pay, because you may as well just earn like whatever 25% of that money is. Like, what is the point in earning so much money if like 75% of it is going to be given away?
Look, I'd probably be comfortable with up to 50%, as long as you could actually get that tax out of the rich people, because a lot of the time they'll just get out of paying the tax. Loopholes and...
So I mean, I assume this is for the upper sort of income echelon of.
Yeah, I have
French
a lot to worry
society.
about with my
Yeah.
high paying job, because I'm really.
You're just gonna.
I feel like my boss listens to this and it sounds like I'm really ungrateful. I really like my job, but
Julie, what have you been consuming?
Oh, we're still on consuming. Holy-
we have
That's-
time.
this is why you never get through
Excellent.
your show notes. What have I... Okay, I most recently consumed a book called Railsea by an author called China Mieville, who I then proceeded to stalk at the Perth Writers Festival.
What? China Mieville
hoping
was
it was
there?
coming.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Are you serious?
I can't tell. Do you know who?
Yeah.
The Perdido Street Station.
Oh. There's a little bit of a geek
connection happening
man's
over
going on.
Anyway, he's amazing. And that's, Here we go. Meet him. Stalking paid off.
Nice. It did.
Yeah, lovely
Well
little.
Is-
She put up. I saw it on the weekend.
Oh yeah, I've put it everywhere.
She put it on Facebook saying something like, "My stalking finally paid off," or something like that. And I was like,
when you guys joined the Fangin' Around group, the pictures that represent you guys had some very interesting looking gentlemen in them.
Yeah, you had Habibi.
Habibi.
I was like, these guys are some tough chicks. Some tough
"Oh my
boyfriends.
god."
I wish China made
I have to keep explaining this because I'll show you the picture.
Okay.
When I was
If
in,
you talk about a visual thing, you have to put it up on
I
the
will.
Fangin'
I'll
Around
put it
website.
on. I'll put it on Fangin' Around. Okay. This is the worst photo ever. Okay, pretty much the story behind this photo is I went to Europe at the end of last year, and I went out with my friend Alicia in London, and we got quite drunk, and we were at a club, and she met this gorgeous guy called Jamal, like tall, dark, handsome, insanely good looking. And she was just kind of like in a little booth, nothing sleazy going on or anything, but just kind of talking and giggling and flirting with him. And I was just kind of sitting on the outside because I didn't want to, cramp her style or anything. And then this guy in the photo just came up and started talking to me and was,
Habibi.
I don't remember a lot, but I do remember.
We all know what Habibi means.
I don't.
It's like baby in Arabic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like dear, like Habib, Habibi.
Habibi is, I don't know this guy's name. Habibi is a name that all of my friends on tour decided was just a hilarious name to give him when they saw this photo, which my friend Alicia kept showing them. Anyway, pretty much, I was really drunk that night, but the only thing I remember is using every last ounce of strength to not kiss this guy because he kept going, "You're so pretty, you should kiss me."
Is he wearing makeup in that photo? Because he looks like an Arabic Boy George.
He's got
You
the
also
manscaping
look
going.
like you're standing in front of those giant fans because your face are just like blown back or something.
Oh my god.
He must be like.
I'm really drunk. No, okay, well this is a picture of a picture.
It's like you're hanging upside down when they took photos.
Pretty much we woke up the next day and I picked up a keychain that I had next to my bed, and it was this drunken picture of Alicia and I that they'd put in a keychain, and I was like, oh, how drunk were we? Like we were keychain drunk last night. And then suddenly I look over and my friend Alicia she cannot breathe from laughing because she found something much better than the keychain. She'd found a professional photo of me and Habibi. I did not remember him. He had paid.
So what, they printed out on the spot?
Yeah, like they've got those camera guys in the clubs in London, and this guy had paid for a photo of us
Wow.
and given it to me.
He was really just going the all-out superliminal.
Yeah,
sort of-
and people keep saying things like, "How do you know that you didn't make out with him?" And the reason I know is because I have a really embarrassing, like, drunken ramble that I remember giving him about why I couldn't make out with him because I'm a coward when I'm drunk. And so he kept going, "You should kiss me, you should kiss me." And I kept going, "I can't. My boyfriend's coming." And he's like, "I don't believe you. Who's your boyfriend?" And I said, "His name's Bryn and he's from Wales." Playing the Welsh card once again. And then I was like, "Do you know any Welsh people?" "Oh, you don't?" "They're an angry people." "Yeah, Bryn's a rugby player. He'll be here any minute, so you should probably go away. Like, I don't mean to be rude." He, funnily enough, did not believe the
buy it?
story.
Didn't buy it? Oh, such a convincing.
I know, and yeah, so pretty much that was my experience. Alicia got Hot Jamal, and I got Habibi, and
Habibi.
and
Habibi.
pretty much every time I just want to make her laugh, I'll like text her that picture. And then last week, I just for some reason was like, I think I haven't contacted Alicia in the past week. I should probably spring something on her, and so I just posted it as my profile picture. And she sent me a million texts going, "Oh my god, I can't believe you've got that up."
She got the word out there.
Well, yeah, now people think this is my boyfriend. They've been saying, "I saw that picture of you and that guy in your profile picture. Is that your beer?" It's like, no. Read the comments underneath, people. But yeah, I'll put that picture up. But you can lift it if you want, James. No, wait, we're not friends yet. I'll go to the Fangin
email
Club.
me.
Yeah, there's many multimedia.
Yes.
Why don't people have to be Facebook this, Facebook that?
Because we're lazy. Highly lazy. And it's free.
Except now it's also a faux pas to turn down or nay someone as a Facebook.
Did you know you can promote posts for $7 Australian?
Yes.
Speaking of which, I should.
It used to be free. I remember when they introduced it, and I had a friend who had like a joke group.
Oh, yeah?
And so she would promote her posts, and then one day she went to promote. They turned it into a paid facility. It was like lured her in, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to pay now." But yeah, a lot of businesses pay.
Jeez.
I paid to promote a post the other day. Segue. This
it
is
for a
something
chick?
I was going to just talk with Campbell, but he's not here to discuss. But his special lady friend is having an exhibition. To
Do you mean his partner?
Yes. Well, yeah, but
The mother of his child?
that's not PC, because that's sort of like implying that they're a homosexual couple. until homosexuals have the right to marry, they own the word partner. That's only,
They're so territorial of it.
yeah.
Ruled the line.
Get a heap of
So
complaints.
Campbell's special lady friend is having sort of like an exhibition, and to raise funds to take place at a residency which she's already been accepted into. So it's all done and dusted. She just had to pay for the flights there, and I guess accommodation and stuff like that. I don't know what goes into it. Anyway, to do this, her exhibition is she's recreating a dog constellation. I don't know.
A dog.
Is there actually
Canis
a
Major.
canine?
Yeah,
Is this a real constellation? This
Yeah,
guy?
I
She's
think so.
recreating a constellation sky, which is named after canines, and she's going to put like hundreds of dogs that she's felted to represent the constellation in an art gallery.
Okay.
And you, to support the project and help it get to Mexico, which is where it's going to go, you can buy one of the dogs for $40. Or you can, if you just want to support the project, you can just chip in $10. As normal Kickstarter or possible. This is on possible games go, and that's just like, hey, help you out. Or you can buy one of the dogs in the exhibition for $40.
Okay.
And you get this. They're ultra cute, the cutest things you'll ever see if you're into really cute stuff. And
Yeah.
or for like $100 or $90, you can she'll actually make your dog from your childhood.
Whoa. As part of the constellation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can, you'll be able to, I guess, send her a photo and she'll recreate your dog in felt in the most cutest way possible.
Holy moly, is it-
And I'll put a photo in the show notes, because just saying it's cute things possible, it sounds like, but no, I mean, this is like these little things made of felt that you're going to be, like, this is her speciality, is just making things the cutest of the cute.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my plug to Campbell's lady friend Elizabeth. Since Campbell's not here to do it.
Has she started already making all these dogs? The many dogs of the constellation?
Yes, I think so. Yes, because she has to make hundreds. There's
that's a big
150,
job.
150 just in the
Felt
constellation.
Yeah,
Constellation, yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like, it's almost like a bit of a not Leonardo, Leonardo da Vinci kind of like, it's like a roof painting, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be like plastered over.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm excited to see it. I like the. I'm very
Intrigued.
I guess spiritual about the stars that we look up to. I was, today I was just looking up at the full moon, going, "Oh my God, are we really alive? Is this just a dream that we're all floating by?" And
I know exactly how you feel. I was listening to the horoscopes being talked about on This Morning, and apparently I can resolve a financial problem this week, and romance is on the cards.
Oh, really?
Hello.
Habibi's coming to Perth.
Look, my heart belongs to Habibi, so back off.
Did you
to
give him
all
a
the
name? Is he
millions-
looking out for you? Now he sees him in the photo. He goes, "Oh my God, that's the Natalie Williams that I was looking for all this time."
Oh my god!
She obviously loves me. She's still got a photo.
If his name was actually Habibi, I would laugh so hard. I don't think it is. It's probably something like George or something really boring. But oh god, if it turned out his name was Habibi,
Oh,
Now we
hilarious.
totally got distracted from who is in your profile picture, Julie.
Is that your writer love?
Yes, China Mieville.
Yeah. All right.
How?
There's not much
And the
more.
Rise Festival was good. Like, what did he
Oh,
talk about?
it was fantastic. His first thing that he did was with Margaret Atwood, who also writes speculative fiction, but has been doing it for a lot longer. Very feminist. Handmaid's Tale. Come on, some people must have read it in high school.
Playboy's movie of the year when it came out.
That was the worst. That was.
Yeah, I know this
Wow.
because my sister
Okay.
had to watch it at high school. We discussed this.
Okay.
And he was, it was great. I mean, he's a big geek, so he's, draws all of his inspiration from comics, geek culture, from Lovecraft, Call of Cthulhu, blah blah blah. He's really amazingly smart and very good comic timing, and he's just ruined many women in that audience for anyone else. He's just.
Oh, really?
And he's super attractive.
Is he attractive?
Or if you like that whole bald-headed, piercing gaze kind of thing, yeah. And muscle and tats.
I'm not like
Are you a
adverse
tat?
to it.
You into tats?
It really depends on the tats. If it's a Southern Cross...
Do you have tats, Jill?
I have one. Just one.
What is it?
It's a infinity sign.
Yeah.
Revenge style.
Infinity.
Like what?
Revenge
Oh,
style.
yeah, I got it just last week.
Yeah.
No, I got it 10 years ago. Put on
The
me
one
by
true God.
bikers who didn't know what it was. So I had to draw it for them.
Really?
You know,
Wow,
there's being
that's-
a huge crackdown. If you're a biker, you're not allowed to tattoo in New South Wales anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
how come?
Well, because it's funding criminal activity.
Can I?
That's a bit of
Tattoos.
stereotype.
It's, what's the word where they move money around?
Launder.
Laundering, yes. They use it for money laundering. And so if you want to be a tattoo artist in New South Wales, you have to prove you're not in a bikie gang.
How do you prove you're not in a bikie gang?
I don't know. I don't know if they've worked that out yet.
Yeah.
Shave your beard off, wouldn't you?
Shave your beard, maybe.
Stop wearing that Hells Angels jacket.
It's a bit of a giveaway.
They just like have people dressed up as whatever the opposing gang is, walk past and see if you jump up and violently attack them or something. I don't know.
Have any of you seen? I'm just going to be really tacky and celebrity dumb it down. But have any of you seen Cheryl Cole's new tattoo?
No.
She's. I would have to explain this definitely to James. Cheryl Cole is a girl band member from Girls Aloud in the UK. And 2 years ago, she got a tramp stamp. Like, it was widely reported.
I object to
Here's
that.
a picture of it.
State.
No, it's a tramp stamp. Like, come on, that is a tramp stamp. Like, it's,
But what is it?
it's a butterfly and swirly
fucking
shit on
butterfly.
the bottom of her lower back.
It's swirly shit.
So,
China Mieville had flies on his arm.
see, flies, I could
He
be.
had flies, and then Margaret Atwood took a picture of it and tweeted it. This woman has got to be...
Are they married? Sorry, you say?
No. No, they're just two authors that talked together at the Perth Writers Festival.
Two authors just casually talking,
Margaret Atwood was there
stop
as
making
well.
something out.
Margaret Atwood.
Two authors, one
Okay.
festival.
Yeah, they had a
hung
thing
out
together.
and she took photos of his tattoo.
Yeah, they were talking. The first lecture was called Wordsmithing, and it was China Mieville and Margaret Atwood talking about speculative fiction. And so before the talk started, she was there taking photos of his tattoos on his arm and then tweeting them. It was, and she's got to be in her, I don't know, 60s, 70s maybe.
How much does it cost to go?
To go.
Yeah.
Oh, $13.50 for the thing. It's like an hour.
I should really go to these things.
It was the first time I'd ever been, and it was awesome. And then on Saturday, I went to a couple of things because a friend had free tickets, and it was about HBO, the rise of the TV novel,
Oh, that would have been so
Tales from the Set. David
writing these.
Pedraca, who's one of the directors of Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire, blah blah blah.
I need to go to see
It was really really
So
good.
is it still? It's still
No, it's
on?
finished.
Damn it!
Started Thursday, finished Sunday.
Actually, I've seen them taking down the tents.
Well, yeah, you would. Yeah.
I know Fringe finished. I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
know
really
if you
sad about
guys
that.
what you guys feel because you live in Perth and not down the internet and stuff like that. But like for me, the feature film is becoming the short film. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like you know, if it's not a 13 one-hour series, it doesn't feel like a real story to me. You know,
I am more into TV now than I was into film. Like, I just can't connect.
Yeah.
I can't commit.
it just feels like nothing much happens, nothing much gets explored in these films.
I feel like it doesn't
And
get explored enough.
And it's like, I mean, obviously, being a bit of a film buff, there's some really good films out there, but they feel like I've personally never seen. And I'm putting up air quotes here. I've never seen a good short film that has dialogue in it.
A good short film that has dialogue in it.
Yeah.
So
Wilfred was a good short film with dialogue in it.
Yeah, but that's basically a pilot for the TV show. The TV show is way better than the.
Well, the American one I really liked. I really like.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, that was a good short film.
how long does something have to be for it to class as a short film?
I think under 20 minutes.
Whoa. I mean, that's a pretty tight. That's tight. I think you.
Most people would say under 10 minutes. I'm giving you the benefit of doubt, saying 20 minutes, which is
He's being
an episode.
generous.
An episode of, you know, Office or Parks and Recreation is 20 minutes. You know, like.
I've seen some actually really good short films lately. 20-minute
agree with you.
You wouldn't agree? Well, okay.
For 20 minutes, yeah. Like right on that. That's like the boundary.
That's the boundary
Yeah.
where it's worthwhile.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
think the one short film that I've made that I actually look back on and not embarrassed by was 15 minutes long. You know,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that I actually found satisfying as a creator.
It's
For me, so 15 minutes for me is pretty much like the lowest you can go.
yeah.
But like, there's this urge to like either go 15 minutes and beyond, or you make a 30-second YouTube clip. There should be no in between. Everything in between is just too.
Wow.
You can't sit
explore.
down
It's fighting
in your
words.
home theater and put it on and make that the show.
You know what?
And you can't just sit at your computer for under 10 to 15 or 7 to 15 minutes at your computer. You just get restless because you've got tweets
Yeah.
coming in, stuff like that. It's
I would say 10 minutes. You need longer than 10 minutes, I reckon. I'd go 15 at least. And actually, they had this thing on YouTube a while ago. It was the challenge was to produce a 1-minute film, and they just made a big compilation of all these different 1-minute films. And 1 minute was pretty tight. Even then, it's like, you have to go for sketch comedy and be real punchy.
Yeah.
one of my favorite YouTube channels is 5-second films.
Actually, no, sorry, it was 5 seconds.
Yeah,
My bad. It wasn't 1 minute. It was 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yep.
5-second films
That's it.
is a great YouTube channel. You know, and Vine, that's 6 seconds, so it's got a whole extra second to be
I'll have to
esoteric.
watch these
No,
in order to give my...
Some of them are lame, but others are really good. And occasionally there's someone who posts a 60-second or 30-second film, and you're like, oh, what are you doing? Get off the air. Just 5 seconds. Come on. Doesn't take a degree in pure maths to work out.
And it's the thing is, all my favorite sort of films are they're mainly Star Wars. They're like sagas, there's just one episode, an extra episode, and I feel invested in it. I loved, I was part of the Matrix generation, so I loved looking forward to the next Matrix film. That was a big part of my youth.
Just disappointment was a part of your youth.
Well, for the people who waited, everyone's disappointed. In the Star Wars
I saw
generation,
the second two
in the
first,
Star
so
Wars
I was
generation,
not
everyone
disappointed.
hated. Everyone hated Return of Jedi because it's just a bunch of Muppets, And then, when the sequels came along, Jar Jar Binks, he ruined it. And then,
Yeah, they got all protected.
you always find an excuse to not like something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just really hate the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, not a fan. Sorry.
Do we just have difficulty with characters that are not human? That whole Uncanny Valley thing.
Hey, Yoda's
What about R2-D2 is one of the best characters in Star Wars.
That's pretty cool.
flies.
Flies.
The fly
I mean,
attack.
on the other arm, he's got an octopus.
This is
that's
China
pretty
level
cool.
for everyone
the-
listening.
Well, on the other side of the spectrum of tattoos from really cool, that tramp stamp that I showed you.
Oh yes, Cheryl Cole's tramp stamp.
She had it redone
and
debuted it last week. This is now what she has.
She's got a sleeve on her
replacing it.
back.
Yeah, it's just most of her lower and middle back covered with 2 roses. It's
Roses.
really
Ugh.
intense.
Yeah, it's
I just have not been able to find one person who goes,
Just
"That's a really-"
tattoos are so lazy. It's you get this one piece of artwork on you and it lasts your whole life.
It's not lazy.
Put some makeup on, damn it. Make
not.
the effort every
No,
day.
it's
Redo it every
really-
day after you do a shower. That's
no,
true
you're
commitment to
inking
art.
something permanent. On, like, oh, look,
Have
We've discussed this last week. Yeah, I had a stamp so I could put it on, but I could change it if I wanted. I could have a different
because you're
stamp
fickle.
for every day.
You're fickle.
yeah.
If you get a tattoo, there are a lot of people
You're
that get
cheating
shitty tattoos.
artists, you know. You're just like put
I don't know how
one-
many.
I think you're employing them.
You should be
actually.
if you want
Tattoo
art on
artists.
your body, you should be paying someone every day to put something new on you.
Campbell, get here
Yeah.
and start painting
This is why
adorable
artists aren't
characters
making any
on
money
my
because
arms.
his Wang Chungs are putting this one-off thing on them and they're stuck with it for life. You know?
Oh, can you imagine Campbell if he was a
Tattoo?
tattoo artist? He'd do like these epic comic sagas all over people's
He's
bodies.
actually had some of his fans have actually tattooed. I think has tattooed some of his art on their bodies.
Oh, we
yeah.
need some photos
Yeah.
of this.
I wish Campbell's here to talk this up.
I wish Campbell was
You
here.
can find. I think if you maybe if you Google
He's so
tattoo,
disappointed that
yeah.
he's not here.
I am. You're all a disappointment to me. I only come here.
What
for
else have you been
Campbell.
consuming, Julie?
That's my whole life. This last week has been in the lead up to seeing China Mieville, and then the post,
The
Post
Just rampant
the
masturbation
come down,
masturbation afterwards.
yeah. Thank you for sullying that memory for me.
What's,
I don't
what
know.
memory?
That's I thought you.
Oh,
were
he
going
said
to.
that I masturbated.
Oh,
I thought that's where you were alluding. Like I couldn't possibly consume anything else because I was just so satisfied by this one
Dang.
experience. Like no TV, no movies, no theatre, no music.
Not well. Look,
bring
still
this
Red
one
Dead
out.
Redemption because it takes
okay.
forever.
did you consume any?
Railsea, which is great, and New Scientist because I'm trying to be smart for this stupid podcast.
Did you consume any raspberry coulis chocolate at work?
No, I didn't.
You should have.
And
I'll bring you some tomorrow.
no, that's all right. And what was the last thing I consumed? No, it's gone. Oh, I'm reading Lovecraft now. I've never read any Lovecraft.
Oh, Lovecraft.
No. And because all of his stuff is out of out of copyright, so you can get free ebooks of it. So
Yeah.
reading Call of Cthulhu, and it's
Are
really
you going
good.
to play the game after that?
The game? No. I'm not, but I have played the Discworld game that has the
it
tentacled
Discworld
monsters.
game?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was set in Ankh-Morpork and it's got all the characters. I can't remember the
right.
name of it though.
Probably something to do with Rincewind, right? If it's
I think he might have popped up, but it was more like Sergeant Nobbs and
okay.
Corporal Vimes
Okay.
and
Yeah.
there was a Gaspod. Is it Gaspod the talking dog? Or
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Nice.
I now understand references to, Cthulhu. Whereas before I was like, yeah, I kind of know what that is. Yeah.
Because there's quite a few. You can get like how there's the Buddy Jesus made popular. You can also get a Buddy Cthulhu as well.
I would
It's like,
now buy money for it.
Hey, Buddy
Pay
Cthulhu.
money for that.
It's pretty good. Like you're at the Writers' Festival, right? So you've been around near where they had all their tents and stuff. Did you see the mysterious wooden cube?
No, was there a mysterious wooden cube?
There was a mysterious wooden cube set up near the arts department at UWA. And for a while, it was really mysterious because it had no entry to this cube. It was just this like cube in the middle of the grass. And I'm like, what's going on here?
How big was it?
It was about
Have you walked up to it?
yeah, I have about 10, 15 metres by 10, 15 metres. 10 metres by 10 metres.
So you're looking way up.
No, it's at ground level. So it's this
ground
cube
level, yeah.
suspended above the grass.
Oh, okay.
Not through levitation, but through metal. And but the other week I was like, right, I'm going to find out what this cube is. After having a few drinks.
Scientific
I'm gonna-
curiosity
see
for you.
inside
It's been there for a while, and he's like,
No, you can't see inside it. It's just this cube. And initially it had no doors, but when I went back, it was.
But if it's not 15 metres high,
Oh no,
not
no,
really
it's
cube.
like about 5 metres high, or a couple,
So it's not a
4 or 5
cube
metres.
cube.
No, it's more of a rectangle,
An
I
obelisk
guess.
or something.
Obelisk. So, like, what I did is, anyway, I went up to it. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? I'm going to find out. Damn it, I'm going to get inside this cube. And, this
many
this
have tried, all have
obelisk.
failed.
All have failed. And there are these people out there, and they're like, oh, yeah, this is like this custom-built thing for string quartets, and like the architect was there, all kind of like, had this big beard, and like, yeah, you should buy a ticket. And I'm like, yeah, okay. because I was pretty like happy, just having a few beers and like, yeah, give me a ticket and get inside this damn cube.
So you were already
And,
drunk before you got there? Is that what you're saying? Or you
No,
wanted
no,
to get inside to get drunk?
No, I was drunk before I got there.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I really wanted to get inside the cube.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I bought tickets, and it turns out it's this little custom-built space for, like, a string quartet and maximum 20 people. And
So it's meant to have really good acoustics.
Yeah. Like, and you're sitting, like, a meter from the people
So you
who
bought
are
a
playing.
ticket?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was. It was excellent.
Is it? It's just
thought it was
temporary.
Yeah, it's just temporary for, like, a week or two. So
I'd like to see that.
I think it's called the Quarterhouse. I don't know if they're still running shows. But
I
they
don't
were
have any
running.
money. So
No.
This thing just blew my entire summer.
Yeah, no, they were because the other thing that enticed me is like, oh, we're trying to get bums on seats, so we're like selling them cheap, and really they had me at, you know, you can enter the wooden cube. They didn't need to go anymore, but
I love people who really are concerned about acoustics like that.
yeah. Oh, this was this like custom built acoustic space. It was amazing. Like, you know, so there was, you walk inside and it was intimate and small, and there was no echo whatsoever. You know, everything was just damp, so you could just hear the sound and not have it sort of muted or muddled. And it's funny because everyone was sitting in a circle, and the string quartet was on the middle, and they all got seated around this circular table which rotated really slowly. So they would slowly be rotating around, and you know, you'd get to see all of them, and yeah, it's amazing.
I live 5 minute walk from like the best art cinema in Perth, right?
Yeah,
But I can barely go there because the main cinema is just like the tiniest, crappy speakers. They have the mini cinemas, which my home theatre screen is bigger than, and my
I resent paying full price ticket to go and see a movie in the mini cinema.
yeah, but they're actually a better experience than the actual main cinema, because at least their tinny speakers are closer to you, so you can hear what's going on. But the problem is you can actually hear the whir of the film projector right behind you, because it's right there behind your head. And
you don't like
and
that?
they're not always in focus. Like, you know, at my home theater, I can actually, you know, focus it myself, so I know that it's going to be the best focus. It really annoys me that I feel that. So I buy a ticket. I go to see these movies, and I want to support the filmmakers. I went and saw the last film I saw was Master by Paul T. Anderson. Huge fan of him. Want to support his work.
Yeah.
But I'm going there. I'm saying this is the worst way to see this film. He shot it in 70mm, like this amazing production. They're just putting it on this cinema. It hasn't been upgraded since 1982. Like,
You can't see it at Cinema Paradiso, or which is slightly better, maybe.
no, not much better.
Yeah.
Like,
Luna
there's-
Essex?
There's IMAX and Carousel, but they don't show like.
You just got to like put together this, like, this is, you know, this is like the plan to make your cinema awesome, and just like walk up to them like, bam, I can do this. I can make your cinema the best in Perth. I just need a budget of $10 million or whatever.
I hate driving to Carousel, but I love going there because you pay extra. It's like $24 to go to the IMAX there. But you walk in, there's no ads beforehand. You just boom in the movie. They have 7.7 surround sound,
it is
and
pretty
you're
good.
just like, it's like going to a rock concert.
I'm
It's
yet
the best
to
way
go
to see a
that
movie.
one yet.
Oh,
It's the only way to see a movie, but they usually only show the 3D movies there,
Yeah.
because not that many films are actually shot in IMAX. Like there was The Dark Knight and the Mission Impossible, and
You're going to see the Cirque du Soleil one?
no. I paid $240 to go see Cirque du Soleil one day, just to like fix up a problem with a girl. And
Oh, please elaborate.
money,
I
Anna.
beg of you, please. Please, we
Did
need
it
to
fix the
talk.
problem?
not really. Like, it was actually one
From
of
the start.
So $240. So $480 to buy 2 tickets.
Did you keep
right?
talking about how much
Yeah.
it cost? Maybe that was the problem.
Yeah. It's
No,
not
I
a
didn't, but maybe I
turn-on.
should have. And this girl who is there's so much politics. I'm not sure I can talk about. It involves people.
I can't talk
Keep
about
talking. Keep talking. We're not going to drop this
There are
subject till we've gotten
people
everything.
on this podcast of the original cast of podcast that cause this problem.
Oh dear, our boss listens to this.
No, not your boss related to this. But there was this girl who was one of my best female friends, probably my second best female friend. And
He divides them. He's like, he's not just one of your best friends. It's the best female friends. Anyway, sorry. Okay,
Feminist
I'm
corner.
sorry.
Okay,
Feminist corner has
I'm
begun.
just
being laid down
Okay,
here.
I'm just-
There's a
Picking on
story.
There's a class system going on here.
Now, the lady friend of one of the guys in the principal cast of Fangin around told this girl, just out of the blue, I don't know where she decided to do this, told her that I had non-platonic feelings for her.
And was this true?
No, it wasn't true at all. And it
Why?
just...
What's the matter with her?
Pardon?
Sorry, I'm seeing this from every
No,
single
it
angle.
was just, we lived in completely different worlds. We just happened to be friends
Yeah.
from various connections.
It happens.
And we had this great sort of
Friendly
friendship
rapport.
that connected two groups together and stuff like that. And it just all fell apart because she thought I had a crush on her. In reality, I actually had a crush on her best friend.
So actually, you were using her.
So she just this girl, this lady friend of one of the people told. This is what I've heard third hand. I don't know if it's true, but she told this girl that I had non-platonic feelings for her. She freaked out. That was like the end of a relationship. And me trying to win her back in some way. She'd always said how much she loves Cirque du Soleil. And I was just like, oh, whatever.
that
So
would
I was like-
only have like kind of like made it a bit more against you in the I don't have feelings for you department, because to be like, I'm actually, you know, I'm just your friend. Here's 2 tickets to this show.
Possibly. But like she really wanted to go to the show and it was all sold out, right? The only tickets left were reserved tickets. And I was like a couple of months since the event where the whole relationship broke down had happened, and I was like lost in the world. I had lost one of my friends that I regularly, talk to every day.
It is devastating when that
I'm a bit of a
happens.
loner. There's only a couple of
Yeah.
people in my life that I talk to like every day, and she was one of them. And so I was like, hey, we should, rather than talking on the phone, let's just do something in real life. And I was like, hey, I'll get you tickets to this show. So I went, and all the normal tickets sold out, so you had to buy A-grade reserve tickets where you get your own custom show beforehand and you get free booze and stuff like that. So it's $240 a
So
ticket.
it definitely wasn't
$480
setting a
all up.
romantic scene with this.
Yeah, so anyway, we go to the show. I turn up at her house to pick her up. She is like absolutely terribly hungover. She had just gone on the biggest binge ever the night before. So I'm dragging to the show. She's just so hungover. Like, by the time we get out of the house, we've missed the pre-show, which is the whole reason you buy the $240 tickets. We turn up and it's like, and the show was just, and once we got in, it's just like, okay, I'm ready to rejoice because I have no expectations of Cirque du Soleil other than that fact she really likes it. And I was not entertained whatsoever. I was just like,
Really?
yeah.
I've not seen it, but I've
And it
never
was
heard a bad thing about Cirque
if
du
it
Soleil.
wasn't this desperate plea to save my friendship with this girl, I would have just
Left.
spat the dummy and been like, I want my money, but this is the worst show I've ever seen. Like,
Did she
there's a couple
enjoy
of
it?
people walking on big balls, and I'm like, oh god.
Did she at least enjoy it?
No, because she was hungover.
Man, that's
I don't know. I mean, why she was hungover is the
Yeah.
whole reason. I don't know, but it's never worked between us since.
man, that's
This
rough, man.
girl sabotaged our relationship by planning this idea, which, in irony, was it was all wrong because I actually was in love with her best friend. Yeah.
I've got to say, there is nothing that you could have done there, because if you denied it, they would have been like, oh yeah, a likely story. Like, and if you'd gotten defensive, then been like, why so defensive? There really was, unfortunately, not a lot you could do.
So that's my Cirque du Soleil, and that's why I will not go see Cirque du Soleil in IMAX.
Yeah,
See,
I can see that put a negative spin on the whole Cirque du Soleil thing.
Well,
Yeah, from multiple
I
angles.
sat there and I wrote my demons down in my diary and then put it away, and then I actually went and objectively tried to think back on the actual performance, and I was like, this was not good.
Isn't it? It's supposed to be magical.
And I've seen it on TV
whimsical.
since then, because how the Cirque du Soleil specials, and I was like, this is not good either. So
But it's supposed to be like, otherworldly and.
this is what they project at you, so you spend all this money to buy tickets, but it's just like, the Emperor's new clothes, you're...
Oh, so you think it's a bit
Yeah.
of wank where people are just
Yeah.
going, oh,
I
it's
went to Cirque du
amazing.
Soleil. They're from French Canada.
so
like,
cultured,
yeah.
so cultured. Yeah.
Ah.
Canadian, the
That's-
world's newest country.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I would.
Canadians come from Canada.
Simple
They
geography.
jump on the bat. They're either Canadians or the Canadians. They choose to be Canadians.
You probably would have to struggle to get me to see Cirque du Soleil in real life, let alone on a movie screen.
But,
I
well,
think.
I don't see why you bother seeing it on a movie screen because wouldn't that...
IMAX.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing about it is
surround sound.
that means nothing to me.
I'm drinking red wine on an empty stomach, so I'm just being
Could you
very-
just keep talking throughout the entire podcast?
Yeah.
I'm being very antagonistic. I'm sorry.
just why don't you give us now like one of your courting, enthusiastic
yes.
courting stories?
I have this very emotional tip this week that I have to read.
Okay, that's just to introduce this, like James's.
Oh, yeah,
James's courting corner.
James's
Yeah.
courting
Tips.
corner.
How to
With James
capture
the
the lady of
stalker.
your dreams.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
So sometimes you come up to a situation where you're going out with a girl just for her touch, and you want to imagine the person touching you is actually someone else that who you're truly in love with, and I think that you've got to be really. I think to make this work, you've got to be upfront. So I've been thinking about how to put this in words to, fix the situation. So I'm thinking you should say to her up front, can I hold you and pretend you're someone else and still respect you for who you are?
Oh my god.
That's my tip of the week.
Oh, James, is this an actual question? Like, have you done this, or are you
And
planning?
have you ever dated anyone that you've actually liked?
Yeah.
Or have you just always been in love with the best friend?
Yeah, you seem to be like.
Always wanting something else and someone else.
Do you actually get with these girls that you really like and then fall in love with?
Oh,
But you just not want them as soon as you get them, you're like, oh, I don't
someone
want
I
them.
liked. Like, yeah.
Are you actually sending that message, or have you sent that message? Is that like past tense or present?
No, well, I'm, this is my future career as a writer. I'm trying to put down in words like how you would approach this situation. Like,
Can we be fuck buddies? Because I don't
That is effectively, yeah.
Oh, but
a future with you.
You didn't say fuck buddies. It was touch, right? So you're.
yeah, you just
Oh,
wanna,
let's be touch buddies.
You know, I just think you should be upfront with
me,
them
touch me
saying,
hard.
like, I just want company,
Snuggles.
and you shouldn't feel offended if I'm not quite there because I'm imagining you're someone else.
Okay, look, I think that is actually a good thing, to be honest. And I have had a relationship with someone who was honest and said, I don't love you. Great, it makes me feel good.
Oh.
But he didn't say,
No,
I'm
but-
imagining someone else.
I was going to say, maybe just say.
But I respect their. The thing is, I respect their companionship.
Say
it's just
that.
Don't say you're imagining someone
yeah,
else.
just say you don't see a future
No,
with
I
them.
think you have to be honest. You
No,
have to be
well,
like,
then,
Not
then
that.
what?
what the whole.
That's
the
a bit
whole
brutally
thing
honest.
Is
Can't you enjoy touch? Human touch
This is what you
without...
say to her. Can I hold you and pretend you're someone else? and and still respect you for who you are.
No, I don't actually know what I would do if I got a text like that. I think I'd just be stunned.
No, you would probably try and say it in person.
Can't you just, if you want touch, I mean, can't you just imagine the touch of your true love? Imagine the touch of your true love. Just imagine it.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean right now, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. That's the only thing you can do. But if you are craving human touch, then you can explain to this person, I just want to be close to someone, but not I'm going to imagine someone
Yeah.
else at the same time.
It's not lying to them if you just say
Just pay a prostitute.
to snuggle you.
I don't have that kind of money.
No, but if you just say I am just after a bit of physical affection, but I don't see, us becoming anything. You don't need to mention the I'm imagining someone else bit, because let's face it, I've talked to
you
heaps of
should
girls
say-
who have been in relationships and
You're
imagine
saying
other
that
guys.
I should say, hey, I want to be in the relationship just for some physical affection, and you get physical affection in return, but I'm not going to explain why I want this such a simplistic relationship.
But yeah, you do, by just saying I don't see a future with us. I respect you. You can say I respect you, but I don't see us
But
going
can we be
anywhere.
friends
But
with benefits?
what if
Yeah, but with snuggle
you
benefits.
do see a future with her because she feels the same way as the woman you're imagining?
Does it-
You don't-
Okay, so have you felt the woman that you're imagining?
Well, like we've discussed, the wedding that I was meant to be stalking.
Oh my god!
I probably won't ever see her again because she only has one sister who's getting married, so
Yeah.
I'll never find out in the papers when
Do you
this
think
person's
it's
getting
time
married.
that you let go?
I mean, that's a path you can take.
From a bitter person who
Or you
doesn't
can
let go
extend
easily.
this self-torture and self-flagellation by, and then getting yourself into a
Or you just
whole lot
wanna
of
live-
trouble with another person.
You
by
either
going,
take. I think if you take that path, you just live in denial your whole life. You know.
No, you're just living in a fantasy land because you didn't, you never carried through in the first place, or it didn't work out in the first place, and it's unreachable.
I'm an aspiring writer. I live in Fantasyland all the time. So what's the difference? You know.
This
I just think for an aspiring writer, you could maybe be a little more eloquent with your stating of why you want to snuggle someone but not have a relationship
yeah,
with
but
them.
you would be lying. I'm
No,
trying to be
it's
okay,
not.
honest.
It's
all right,
not.
that's
I'm
lovely.
trying to
But
be honest.
but
Spare
okay,
their feelings.
if you want any, you're not going to get anywhere by saying that. I just don't.
You think she wouldn't?
I think
she
she'd
wouldn't
have-
appreciate the honesty.
In a very general way, I think a lot of people
She would want to be lied to.
I think her confidence would be battered, and if she did, it
No,
would
but
probably
you're
be.
well.
How would you feel if the same thing was said to you?
I'd be down for it.
Oh my! You're a guy, and obviously
exactly.
we're not
It doesn't
talking about
work. It
snuggles
doesn't work the other
anymore,
way, right?
are
If a girl
we?
comes to me and is like, "I want to touch you like my ultimate lover," I would be like, "Yes, please."
But I'll be imagining him the entire time.
I don't know. Maybe
Not
there's
you.
someone out there, but I think it would be a rare person that would be
I
happy
just
with
think
that.
you're at major risk of hurting. And I don't think you need to mention the other. Like you can.
Yeah, but
on.
I think you're hurting them by not being honest.
Yeah, but
as
that's
well.
that's really not much different to like guys thinking of like bikini models when they're with their girlfriends. Like it's
Everyone is in a
But
relationship. At
I'm
some point
not.
thinks about someone
I'm not
else.
that kind of guy. I wouldn't.
I just think
I don't find bikini models.
no, but
that
this is the
attractive,
equivalent of
you
your
know.
bikini model.
And
This is
really,
the
I mean, can
equivalent.
you suspend your disbelief enough to imagine that it is this person touching you? Because then as soon as she speaks, it's not that person. And
Mood broken.
yeah, I don't. Would you ever be able to really imagine that it's another person?
Yeah, I have a pretty vivid imagination.
Why don't you just touch
then-
yourself?
Well, that's pretty much what I do. No, but the
This
problem with
segment gets
touching
better
the problem
every
with
week.
touching yourself is I can't do that. Like I can't think of someone I respect when you're doing that thing. Do you know what I mean? That's the
I
problem.
respect you too much.
You respect.
You know?
Oh my god, I love this segment so much, and I never want it to end.
Well, it's gonna end because
I can't wait for next week.
Oh,
the headlines.
I may not.
Perth, our city that we're recording from, if you're listening from overseas, which
Ooh,
95% of our audience is.
Whoa.
To
I
them,
thought we
are
had a lot of South Koreans
personalities.
I'm not counting South Koreans.
because you're racist.
Oh, they do their own thing with the podcast.
I don't. Yeah, what would they do with the podcast unless they had really fluent
Play us
English?
into a public
How
square.
many of your friends have you got to like the Facebook Fangin Around page?
I just got a text from a
No
friend
one.
saying he was listening,
Oh, okay.
and he told me I have a face for radio. Yeah.
That's
Friend
Radio,
inverted
Thanks,
commas.
Ian.
For our real listeners, Natalie has a gorgeous face.
Thank
She
you.
does. And great veins. Pipes.
My
rather.
pipe.
You know, if we had the NBN here, this would be a cam show, no doubt.
Yeah.
It would be actually.
We need to vine your
pipes in my-
pipes. So we need to remind you.
My pipes in my feet have been on fire this week. They're
In your feet.
Yeah,
That's
they're
a
down
whole
at the moment.
Section of
the palm of my
Fetish.
foot. Oh, there's going to be some sick palm-loving guys on the internet who will love the pictures I take. Oh, I'll put my pipe picture on Fangin as well.
Pipes galore.
Anyway, Perth is now bigger than Tokyo and LA.
Ha. Really?
Not combined.
Land area, not population.
Where? No, go on. I was going to where does Perth end?
Yanchep to Mandurah.
Yeah, manager.
So is this just
Okay.
because they've expanded so much, or
This is because all the new suburbs, instead of
Yeah, so
building
the
high-rise
sprawl.
buildings in Perth, they're sprawling. This is the issue that we have one of the biggest cities in the world, yet we have a population of only 1.5 million people.
yeah, we do
Yeah.
spread it out a lot. We're a little bit spoilt with our like big McMansions and.
Which is why I'm in some way against. We got a state election coming up. Against Labor's plan to create this new metro rail system, which encourages people to live out in the whoop whoop by having better transport services. He also wants to cancel the museum, but we're only not allowed to talk about that.
I was going to say that this sounds really
You should eat
interesting,
something.
but I actually
Come
have
less
no
antagonistic.
opinion.
Opinion on the spread of. Well, I mean, I'm.
Do you want people to have like full size yards, or do you prefer Perthians adjusted to apartment living?
I actually, because I've moved from the outer suburbs where I had a big backyard and everything to I was in like a unit for a while. I did miss the space, but I preferred being in the city.
Close?
Yeah, I liked. I thought it got a bit annoying sometimes because I was in a squishy little unit, but I don't know. I just thought it was a nice. It was just a better payoff for
Close
me.
matters a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I would actually be happy to say have the physics department relocated to Denmark, maybe with a few small independent bars.
Denmark?
I'd live there. Yeah.
Down
Denmark.
south.
The town?
Down south, yeah.
Okay.
Denmark's
The town.
awesome.
Is that what they're proposing?
No, but like it's
You're just
That's what
fantasizing.
Rhett
this is the Rhett fantasy, move.
Why
where-
Denmark?
Well, I don't know. It's near the beach. You got forests, and if you had a few.
It's so pretty.
Well,
Well,
some
Perth
clubs
is
there.
on the longest, one of the longest
No,
stretches.
but there's no forest.
But here's the thing. Like maybe if things were located elsewhere, really close, I could live like super close to everything. I could live within a walk from uni and the awesome little pub things and the movies and the beach. And I could just walk everywhere. That's my dream, to walk everywhere in a small sort of place with lots of natural beauty. I mean, it's not going to happen because Perth is like super spread out now, which is.
See, I'd just really like it if I could own a really nice, awesome big house smack bang in the centre of Perth. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea to build rail links to areas that are already built up. But then, I don't know.
But one of the things that keeps the Perth CBD alive is the fact that you have to go into the city to go anywhere else in Perth, Well, if you can bypass the city, then you'll have this whole generation of people that never go into the CBD and never come to visit the $400 million museum. But of course that won't happen
no
because
comment.
The government will...
No
one
comment.
government who's providing this option will not fund the museum.
no comment. I love living in the city. Did I mention that?
I'm a big
My
fan.
in my little unit.
I'm a big fan of nodes. You might have a centre, but I used to
Cultural sort of nodes.
and I used to live in Japan, and
I think Australia should lock down. I mean, Perth should lock down their nodes.
Yeah.
This is not going to make sense to people who don't live in Perth, Australia. But the Labor's plan is to build these things out in Whoop Whoop that connect the stations. What I think you need to do is connect, just Leederville to Subiaco. It's such a pain in the ass. I mean, you can walk, but it's not a nice walk from Leederville to Subiaco. Connect Leederville, Subiaco, Mount Lawley, East Perth, and Nedlands, and make the inner city much more interconnected rather than going out to the outer suburbs.
But no,
interconnecting them.
okay, I live out in Cardinia, and I mean,
out in Cardinia.
it's okay. It's not as far as
Oh,
Rockingham. Sorry,
just-
I just put my foot in it, didn't it?
What a trek you make each week to join us in Leeds.
I don't know. I get
For context, right? Julie lives. Well, she says she lives in Rockingham.
I'm alleging that I live in Rockingham. I live about 60 kilometres away.
When John Glenn orbited the Earth for the first time, I could tell the difference between the lights of Perth and Rockingham separately. He identified
Not anymore,
them.
but then you could.
Now Rockingham is now a suburb of Perth.
It's not a suburb.
Yeah.
It is its own city.
Technically, but
Yeah.
Sorry, I have a
it's on the
Rockingham
Perth
connection
rail.
in my-
Yeah, we know.
railway
You're
line.
expert.
So I just laugh when I hear them saying that because it's just.
If you're not
Hey,
on
do
the
you know
rail
what?
line-
Rockingham was considered as one of the
It used to
capital
be lovely.
cities of. Well, no, it was at one point surveyed as being a possible location for a capital city of the Swan River colony. It was Perth.
But then they decided not to
Albany
do that
and-
instead focus all their planning on Liquid's nightclub where Flo Rida played many years ago.
You're familiar with my people. Then.
I am familiar with Liquid.
Again, for the people who are coming in who live, the 95% of our listeners who don't live in Australia, Rockingham is where Sam Worthington from Avatar grew up.
it was actually
Our one export.
Yeah.
it was named the Bogan capital of Australia, which
Of the
actually
world, I think.
Well, because burgers only exist in
my
Australia.
hometown, I think Armidale, which is kind of it's closer to Perth, but
Yeah,
it's
but you'll
not
have
as
all the
nice.
you have all the rich people who live on the hills that choose to live up there. 'Cause
There
you
are
get a
rich people
view
who
of-
live in Rockingham though as well on
Yeah, on the beach.
on the beach.
On the beach, it's a very
Yeah.
mine
what do you call it?
rich, you know,
What?
mine rich.
No,
They-
they're like
no.
long-term.
Yeah, these are the people who bought holiday homes in Rockingham
Yeah.
back when
Well,
it was just
see-
a cute little outer
Yeah.
area. So
We've got a strip club.
Well,
They come down more often.
Zelda's?
Zelda's.
Yeah. Oh.
A prime position, like right on the waterfront, practically.
And you just look at it and go, what a waste.
thing is,
What a waste.
in
Is it a
Rocky,
waste? They don't make any money.
The police keep trying to shut them down, and they did shut them down. The police, in cooperating with local council, shut down that and the bar upstairs for a limited time, but now they're reopened. But I don't know if they must make money. I never see people out there, though.
where's the Sam Worthington Theatre Centre? Where's the?
He's not dead yet.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be, right? Rockingham, they need a lifeline for.
I
Like,
have the Gary Holland something or other. I don't know who Gary Holland is.
but where's like the Lunar Palace, Rockingham, and
Yeah, I'm
blah, blah,
surprised
blah,
they don't make a bigger deal out of it than they do. Like, I never really hear much about it.
Rockingham is like the perfect chance to sort of have another decentralised bit for Perth where you can have things and people and make it kind of awesome.
It's kind of like the
Things
Russell
and
Crowe
people.
of the West, though, isn't it? It's like we kind of wish, he actually was born in Mauritius so we can pipe him off and say, oh, he's actually New Zealand's fault, just like Russell Crowe.
I just love that whenever I don't mind Sam Worthington.
I'm just kidding, Sam Worthington. If you listen to this, you're welcome on the podcast.
the invite's been extended.
I just like
keeps it
watching
real.
Sam Worthington in movies, and every now and then I can hear his little
Australian
twangs
accent,
come
yeah.
out, and it's like, oh.
Look, he's
It's actually
not a bad
worse
actor,
in
but he's...
video games. He does a lot of voices for video games.
Yeah,
Really?
he's in,
And obviously,
Call of Duty,
he's obviously not paid enough because his accent really.
Oh, really? So he's
because-
supposed to be American again in that.
But because you're just sitting in a studio, obviously he just doesn't have the patience to keep up his accent.
But then sometimes, say with Avatar, he didn't need... I don't see this need for, all actors to sound American. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in the future, he doesn't need to, he could have this hybrid accent.
Yeah.
And same with Terminator Salvation. Maybe not so much with Clash of the Titans.
I just don't understand why all those Clash of the Titans-y movies, it's like, why do they even have to be American? Like,
Oh, well, you
it just sounds...
unless you're playing a French
English,
character,
yeah.
in which case then you'd speak with a British accent.
I just got to say, some of the most memorable lines are things that we stick with me from Gladiator. Russell Crowe, on my command, unleash hell.
Well, yeah,
was
well,
great.
the ancient Romans may have had a very surprisingly Australian accent.
And then you see
That's
it.
great. That's great.
He's opened up a stubby.
him as Robin Hood. At least he tried in
it's
Robin
good.
Hood. Like Kevin Costner was just an American accented Robin Hood.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I've said this before on the show. Have you heard Keanu Reeves doing an English accent in
in that,
Dracula?
Oh.
Oh my God. It is amazing. He struggles. He physically cannot move. I'm trying.
Went with the effort.
No, this is how he sounds, and I'm not joking. I'm so glad that you have decided to join us tonight. Like, it's just Bill and or Ted trying desperately to fit in at a country club. It is just the best accent, and I love Keanu Reeves.
I love that movie.
But oh my God, it's just not a good accent at all.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keanu. And if you're listening, you are
Yes.
always welcome on this podcast.
Another one, welcome.
Speaking of cool things from New Zealand that aren't Russell Crowe, these guys in New Zealand are trying to build the world's biggest water slide on their farm
Oh.
property outside of Auckland.
That is cool.
And
Okay.
this is kind of a visual thing. I'll put the link in the show notes of basically that I guess they hired an excavator and they're digging this big pipe that goes all the way down their farmland. And these are guys are my heroes because like my dad's side of the family comes from farming, and I go to the family farm, and I'm like, oh, I just fantasize about, we could build this amazing water slide here, but these guys actually did it, They actually
Very health and
put the money
safety.
in. And I think what they're doing is they're paying this money to obviously get the excavator and dig the water slide, and then they're charging the ticket price to I don't know what the ticket price is, but all the ticket price is going to like an anti-suicide foundation or something like that.
That's great. Would it be like just straight, or would it be wavy going down?
Well, they've got 3 water slides, 2 that are just like speed slides where you just go down a hill and then up a jump and then fall into a big pool of water. And they've got one that actually follows the land down the hill, down through the valleys and stuff like that. That's like, a kilometre long,
That would be awesome.
That sounds
I'll put the link in the video about they're building it. They did this last weekend. They did the first run of the 2 short slides, and I'm looking forward to seeing the videos of the long one because I would love to. I'm almost tempted.
It's pretty
if
epic.
I won lotto, I'd buy a ticket over and fly.
Do they need help trying to dig their water pipes out? And
No, they've got like an excavator. They hired an excavator and they're just digging it out themselves, and then I guess they're lining it with like this white plastic
stuff.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But
bless you, New
I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing some user videos because apparently it got really, really muddy after because the first weekend sold out like 5,000 people, whatever. So.
Oh, so have they made a good bit of money out of this then?
I don't know. I think it's all for charity, so it's.
I guess big water slide like that, it's got to collect a lot of mud, but it become a mud slide after about.
Oh, it gets
couple
so
of hours.
grubby.
Yeah.
It'd be all.
This is one thing I regret about. I see a lot of pictures of Facebook, people in Perth like finding big hills and turning them into water slides, and I wish I was part of that
Scene.
That whole culture.
Is there like a bit of a water slide creation sort of scene?
Yeah, I mean, there's this regular once-a-year event I think they have near Mosman Park, near Fremantle, and they always do it. And I know some cinematographers and I that just go along and film people sliding down these big banks, like in that. There's one.
right.
I'll put it in the show notes. This guy by Liam Underwood is a cinematographer in Perth, and he did this one after the big Perth storm in 2010. The hailstorm. All these golf courses were just saturated with water, and you could just like get your normal regular boogie board and jump on top of the golf course and just slide down the whole thing. Like it was really awesome.
It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, right.
Feminist Corner.
What's in Feminist Corner this week?
This
the
weekend
UFC.
was the first top billed woman versus woman UFC fight. Did you guys follow? I think it was pay-per-view. You had to pay $45 to watch. But
Then the answer is no.
No.
but did you follow on the internet, like live
No.
tweeting?
No, I didn't know it existed until you.
Oh yeah, Ronda Rousey, who's like the.
I've got to look her up.
She kind of looks like a cross between Natalie Portman and Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, wow. So she's hot. I was expecting
and she's
Flame from Gladiators.
just dominant. Like if you don't tap in the first round, she'll break your arm. Literally, like you can look up videos of her snapping women's arms.
What, really?
Yeah.
I didn't think UFC you're allowed to.
If you don't tap, she'll snap your arm.
Oh, wow. She is very attractive, which shouldn't matter, but it's still nice.
No, but I mean, it's just the fact that she's like Anna Kournikova, but she's good.
Yeah, fighting people.
Yeah, she's actually
No,
good
I'm not.
at her
I'm not
sport.
knocking Anna Kournikova. She's
You should, 'cause she's
She's
not a very
a
good
tennis
tennis
champion.
Is she?
Yeah,
Has she-
she's a
how
Grand
many-
Slam. She's a Grand Slam champion.
What Grand
She's a
Slam
tennis
did she
player.
win?
Oh, you can look it up on Wikipedia.
I don't think
Grand
she.
Slam champion.
Okay, I'm looking.
I'm pro Anna Kournikova.
Yeah, I bet you are.
But she didn't quite reach this rise where she is an undisputed champion.
Should we
like,
blame Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some pictures of her.
And the girl she defeated is a former like US Marine or something like that.
All right, yeah. So would have been a pretty hardcore sort of.
I would just like I know it's terrible to say that she's good looking, but I almost hope that means that there is maybe a bit more interest because let's face it, that's how you get guys to watch sport. That's got women in it, so that they can then maybe watch it and go, "Oh yeah, actually, chicks can
Are you,
fight."
as feminists, are you like, yeah,
Yeah.
women fighting, yeah?
Okay.
You don't care about
Have
the whole
you
morals
seen
of.
women like chicks in the playground when they
I've watched
fight?
all the videos.
And what are the
They
morals?
are worse.
What are the moral
boys.
issues here in women
Yeah.
fighting? Please.
Well, obviously, there was a nip slip incident on the fight in the weekend, so everyone's promoting the fight as like, hey, her nipple slipped out. you know.
Does she really care?
but yeah, but I mean, what's that got to do with women fighting? I mean, that's a
Segueing to the Oscars, which was today, which started off
just
with a
wanna say-
song
How's
by
it going?
Seth MacFarlane. Is that?
About boobs.
About boobs, like I saw your boobs, and some people are offended by this.
What did he say?
Or should we give women the benefit of the doubt that they made the decision to put their boobs on cinema?
I just think,
screens
what do
around
you
the world?
expect? Like,
Yeah.
have you never heard of Seth MacFarlane? Of course he's going to find a way to insult people, and of course he's going to find a way to sing, because that's what the show is about. It's about offending and him taking a chance to sing like Frank Sinatra.
Awkward 9-minute sketches that just go on
Yeah, that include really long songs that he's created.
and on. You're just like, it wasn't, it's not funny.
Yeah.
Please. Just,
Like, you're
ad break.
usually funny, but please.
Anyway.
But
During the clips I saw, they cut to the actresses reacting, but apparently they've all been pre-recorded.
they're all acting.
oh, what is
Yeah.
it?
So I want,
Kate Winslet
which is
would
kind
have
of annoying because I
cracked
want to
up.
see their actual real reactions. I assume
they
they
If,
all
if
did.
they hadn't known, Kate Winslet is hilarious. If you read
Kate
interviews.
Winslet's down for anything.
She's like,
We've all
oh,
seen that extras episode.
yeah. She said,
Yeah.
oh, I get my tits out for everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the extras.
Yeah.
She's.
But, like, just
you're obviously
in-
a huge Kate Winslet fan. You talk about her every week about her connections with Virgin. And
Oh yeah, that's true.
oh yeah. Well, no, that's
have
to
you seen movie
43?
43?
No. But, Ian, if you're listening, you said you'd watch it.
We should go tomorrow, Cheap Tuesday.
Can I interrupt with
Who can be bothered spending money?
Anna Kournikova has only ever won 2 Grand Slam doubles results, and I don't think that counts.
That counts.
No.
Doubles
Oh,
is
he gives a shit.
doubles is a real sport. You have
who
a team.
watches doubles? Female doubles.
You're discriminating as a whole form of sport in favour of.
I have
Like,
a
where are
track
you
record.
going with this? Like,
I'm just pointing out, Anna Kournikova, not really a champion of anything.
what?
Player
Because
of
she's,
tennis.
she's a team player.
What do you have to be a win to be a
She's a
champion?
top 10. She was a top 10.
Yeah, I think you do. I think that's what
She
champion
is
means.
a player of tennis, not a winner of titles.
She was.
There is a
She made the top
difference.
10 in singles. You saying, oh, because she didn't win, she's not justified. You're like one of these people who are like, oh, silver. That's like the first loser.
Yeah.
Well, it is technically, if you think about it. It's like they're giving you a medal to commemorate how much you lost by.
Oh, man.
Hey, I take
You
silver.
guys are
There's some high standards
I can't
here.
believe that I'm the biggest feminist on this podcast.
Oh, whatever. Okay, so are we going to talk about people winning the Oscars and what we think about that, or is that just not?
I haven't seen the speeches, acceptances, or
Well,
anything
guess
yet.
what?
Jennifer
Did we
Lawrence.
talk about this when you guys were on? Surprise, despite Les Mis did not win original
Here
song
we
despite
go.
blasphemy in their
Yeah, you
feature.
talked about it. Can we stop you now?
Adele won.
all that rubbish.
But Anne Hathaway won.
Oh, for her 5 second
Because it was
scene.
amazing. And Judi Dench won her Oscar for a 10
I'm
minute
not knocking Anne Hathaway. I thought it was a good performance.
started knocking
but
her.
the whole movie is based around trying to get Oscars. And they only got one.
Actually, there was a member of the Academy, an alleged member of the Academy, who did an anonymous article pretty much slagging most of the Oscar contenders off. And one of the things he wrote was that he saw the Les Mis song as just a really cynical move to just get a best song Oscar. And
But
he was just going, I
all
want
songs
Adele to
are
win.
that end up competing for the Oscars.
I think Adele's song is great and she deserves it. But it just goes to show that Les Mis sold out and they didn't even win.
Okay, the best thing I read though in that article, just quickly, was because he was slagging everyone off, like everyone. He said Jennifer Lawrence didn't deserve to win, which she did.
No, but it's payback. She should have won for Winter's Bone.
And she was
not the
amazing.
Oscars.
She was amazing, but there shouldn't be payback. In the
Well, no,
Oscars.
he said
No,
she shouldn't have.
Judi Dench won for her 5 second scene in Shakespeare in Love as payback for Mrs. Brown. Okay,
Yeah.
this is how the Oscars work, right? But Adele, what was that payback for? No, it was just a good song, and Les Mis
It
sold out for
deserved to
Over
nothing.
Lane Field.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of like, I think just
I mean, that's the
Academy
worst
voters.
Oscar anyway. Best song in a movie. That's just the worst category I've ever heard.
It is
should be
funny.
best score, and that's it.
I think Vanilla Sky, actually, when that came out, like everyone was talking about what a big bomb it was, and oh my God, what's
I
going on
liked
with Tom
Vanilla Sky.
Cruise.
The
And
original's better.
it was just before his career started, maybe
I wouldn't have
taking
known
a
about the
dip.
original if it wasn't for Bill.
But it got made fun of because I think the only nomination it got was for Best Song. And people were just like, ooh, awkward.
They talked about her boobs in
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah, Penelope Cruz. What? Well, the guy described. Has anyone seen Django Unchained?
Yes, I have.
He
Quentin Tarantino won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, well, he described it as, he said it shouldn't win Best Original Screenplay because it's pretty much 120 minutes of Quentin Tarantino masturbating.
Yeah, it is.
And I did laugh.
Interspersed with the N-word.
I saw the movie and I did
Who
like
cares about the
it.
N-word? It's just
But it's
like...
true.
Oh, I don't know. Probably a lot of people.
I
don't.
just think
No, but-
it's historically accurate. So it was.
Historically accurate in that it would have been used. Would it have been used that much? I really don't think so.
have you read Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn?
Yeah, but they don't use it. Every other word is the N-word.
They make
in
a
that
point of
movie.
using it as a descriptive term, and it's like I know that they did objectify people as like currency, but did they actually use that word?
No, I'm sure they use the word. I'm just not saying
but
they didn't use it like a
that
Tarantino
often.
uses it.
Yeah,
he
but-
loves that word, and although I don't think Spike Lee's criticism of Tarantino really amounts to much, I think he has something with
I
that.
quite liked the movie, but yeah, I did laugh when I saw it because I remember watching the movie and being like, "Oh, this is just classic Tarantino." Like, you know that he was just writing this, going, "Oh yeah, this is amazing. This is everything I wanted to watch when I was, a teenager in those dirty grindhouse theaters." So.
I still maintain it's sort of a movie, not a racist movie. It's a movie about racism. I think the funniest Tarantino bit in that film was when Tarantino himself comes in.
We talk. Well,
We have?
were you not here? Maybe it was when you were here, but I was just like that. It's just what was the point of that scene?
That was hilarious.
There's no point to it.
But he blew himself up, and that kind of leveled it out. So yeah. Anyway,
It's just like, why this scene? There's all this movie, all these great scenes of people saying, and then they just ruin the momentum of the whole film by having this.
that scene epitomised the
Are you
Tarantino
spoiling
wank.
it for anyone?
Okay, yeah, spoilers. Okay,
Well, you did.
can-
He blows himself up.
You can edit that, right? Yeah. Anyway, who cares? It's like
Spoiler alert.
He's
Spoiler
not
alert.
that. The thing is, it's not a spoiler because it's completely irrelevant to the entire plot of the film.
yeah, it's the Tarantino wank in a nutshell, condensed
Yeah.
into that scene.
But it's so watchable.
But it is. No,
It's like
it was a highly entertaining film.
you couldn't stop watching it, although it got so long.
But it's not Oscar. I mean, I don't know why I even say that word Oscar worthy, because it's like, what does that even mean? Because Oscars are rubbish, but
What were the other contenders?
I don't know. But it's.
Let me look this up. I've been looking through the trashy updates on the Oscars all day. I saw Jennifer Lawrence's Fall.
I mean, the biggest crime of all was Roger Deakins was again overlooked for the 10th time, and Best Cinematography went for the guy who did Life of Pi, which was almost entirely visual effects, from what I'm told.
I've never seen Life.
And
of Pi,
the
but-
people who did the visual effects for Life of Pi were outside the building protesting because they got fired as soon as the movie was made, and they didn't get paid for their overtime.
Really?
That's an amazing business strategy. Just get work and
Yeah,
then
so
fire
this
everyone.
guy has got the most hollow victory in Hollywood by winning the cinematography, even though the people who actually did his work for him got fired straight after.
That's a massive.
I don't know
dick
enough
move.
about the details.
But yeah, let's just pretend that it's real anyway, and
Yeah.
slam this guy.
This is where you come to hard-hitting news, fangingaround.com.
Was this about the internet being a museum? And this is one of the
feminists-
displays.
This is about the Internet Museum. Feminist Corner. Women only make up 9% of dedicated Wikipedia editors. How do you explain your sex? Why aren't you contributing to Wikipedia?
I don't know, because I'm lazy.
We're just on Perez Hilton all day.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have time for that
Perez
shit.
Hilton, yeah.
I'm actually still looking for the winners of the Oscars, so I'm not even.
I don't know, busy raising children.
Yeah.
But are there any? I mean, it's hard to get stats on something like this. But what's
how do you-
what's the proportion of people accessing Wiki? Like just even to read. Sort of
No, this
males.
is talking about people who write.
Oh, just contributors. Okay.
Yeah, contributors.
I
Yeah, I
really
read it.
doubt
I just don't contribute.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's a big issue that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard one side of view from a feminist saying, "Oh, it's because women feel that as soon as they go on the internet, they're going to be bullied, so they don't even bother going on the internet, so they never get a chance to edit a Wikipedia article."
Do you have to announce your gender to edit a
I don't-
Wiki
well,
article?
the few articles I've edited, didn't have to.
Okay. All
Could
right.
do it anonymously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just can't be bothered.
Because I reckon, because maybe there's like a fraction that's like 9% female, like 12% male, and then like 70 whatever percent unidentified or something like that.
But I think and that's a complete. If Wikipedia is really a truly open environment,
Yeah.
for women to step up and do things, that could, I'm sure some guy out there at university could do a PhD on how, the reason women get paid less in certain jobs is because they just can't be bothered doing as Nelly says, can't be bothered doing the work, that the men do.
I didn't say all women. I just said I cannot be bothered.
I would look, without knowing anything about it, I would suggest looking at sociological factors, women being less, being enculturated to not think that what their opinion is of value and that they can contribute to something that is an encyclopedia. And I don't know. I'd have to look into it.
I wonder who wrote the article on feminism in Wikipedia.
Well, that's what
man.
that's what one of the saying is that the I can't remember the example they gave was. Oh, that's right. They said that the article for Rambo is way better than the article for Bridesmaids. Like,
right, okay.
Because women, Bridesmaids is like this pinnacle of women in cinema.
Yes, it's a pinnacle of women in cinema.
Obviously directed by a male in Paul Feig, but written by a female and starring
And hey,
females.
I love that movie. Because it's got women in it. It's something that's the pinnacle of female cinema when they're shitting in a
And to be fair,
in a sink.
To be fair, Rambo's like, a 30-year-old film, so it has more time to have information just stayed out of the cultural reverence for it. But
I just got a little annoyed when Bridesmaids came out and there were all of these articles going, finally, funny women, and it's like,
But did you guys go see the Bachelorette movie?
No.
I did.
With Isla Fisher.
It was awful. I spent the entire movie
I thought
waiting.
that was more honest about females in a way, though. That like
I could see where they were coming
females
from.
prepared to be flawed,
Yeah, and I saw them really being self-consciously aware of that part of the script, but I just was waiting for the movie to begin for about 45 minutes, and then suddenly I went, oh wait, this is the big story. There's like a rip in a dress and it could be easily fixed, but then stupid things that haven't really properly been brought up, so we don't really care about, get in the way of the characters doing the right thing. It was just a really, I didn't really like
didn't rate it.
No, and I was with a friend who's not like, she'll just watch movies because she's just like, she's doing a psych degree. She's like, I think too much. I want to turn my brain off and be entertained. So I am the overthinking, like ex-film student, and she is the I just want to turn my brain off viewer. And both of us were just like, was that it? Like, it's so much potential, and it was just a really boring film. And they were like, oh, it's capitalizing on Bridesmaids, and it's going to be just as funny, and women are finally funny. Oh, thank God. And it's like, really? Isla Fisher was still kind of good, but even then it was just dry, and it would have been better as a TV show, actually.
Yeah, like a Seinfeld.
Yeah, well, it was definitely seemed to be going down the direction more of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or Workaholics, but every character's like Sweet D.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, okay. Well, too many Sweet Ds.
Too many Sweet Ds.
Too many Sweet Ds ruin.
Yeah.
There's like some of the stuff that these characters were dealing with, it's like, we really have not had enough character development to care about either of you and these situations that you're in, and you've come across in their attempt to make them flawed and blah. They came across as quite unlikable as well. So it's like, why am I supposed to care about either of you? Like, because it was usually people coupling off into groups and having the issues, and it's like, why should I care about either of you? And where the hell is this sub-story coming from? And why? It's like, one of them was really dark, and it's like, hey, this maybe could have had a place in a movie if it was just about these characters with all the other characters playing second fiddle. But they were just trying to cram too much into there and be dark and edgy and really, like, even though it was made at the same time as Bridesmaids, so it's unfair to really compare it. Like, it's not a Bridesmaid ripoff. It's a not very good movie about some women who are bridesmaids.
Okay, all right. And you just don't really, care
It wasn't
one way or
good.
the other. No.
It's just annoying because that was like put on a pedestal as another chance for women to prove themselves as funny, and it's like, Yeah, well, there are actually funny women in Hollywood. It's just not all of them are ridiculously good looking. So that's why they don't get the work. That's how women get work in Hollywood, and that's why there are so many funny male
I was gonna say,
men.
that's really strange. I mean, I know, I can think of a few funny women actors, like, and they've been around for ages too. Like,
It's
But they're usually lesbians.
Janine Garofalo is a fluke. Okay,
No, what's your favourite character from Glee?
my favorite character. I don't watch Glee.
She hates Glee.
we
How
discussed
sexist of you.
One of you guys have
Sue
just-
Sylvester. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
She's a lesbian.
Yeah, okay.
I know, but I don't think it
when I
defines
said
her.
favourite character from Glee, you know what I was talking about. Yeah.
I didn't actually at first. I was like,
No, but this
yeah.
is what Campbell tells me is like, the reason I think Sue Saville's one of the great female characters is because she acts like a man.
Yeah, well, I've read a few articles about like why is it that like they were looking at an actress who had died. She was a bit like Lucille Ball in that, like the thing that made her funny was that she was unsexy and a klutz and always making like big social faux pas, and that's what made her funny. And they were like, why is it that in order to be funny, like women have to be unsexy? But it's like if you think about it, men to be unfunny either have to be douchebags or unsexy. It's pretty much comedy. Like Charles Schultz made Snoopy, and he said a quote along the lines of, comedy or humor is bad things happening to other people, and that's pretty much it, which is why there aren't as many good female comedy actors who get noticed compared to the ratio of male actors, because for men their looks don't matter as much, but for women maybe the awkwardness of not being the best looking chick on the block has meant they've been able to capitalize on that throughout their lives, grow a sense of humor, because let's face it, you do sometimes have to, like there's a reason there are a lot of bland hot chicks out there. And yeah, I just think it's just insulting, this whole bridesmaids thing. And
Obviously
Tina
there was
Fey.
Bridesmaids versus Bachelorette. They had the two opposing forms in the current It Girls in comedy for females. There's Rebel Wilson in Bachelor, and is it Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids, who was...
But Rebel Wilson was in Bridesmaids too.
Was she?
Yeah, she was the housemaid of Kristen Wiig's character.
I haven't seen Bridesmaids too.
There you go.
No, sorry, Bridesmaids.
Oh.
No, just like not Bride.
Oh,
no.
yeah, she was
and Matt
the
Lucas were the
English.
housemates
Oh,
of
okay.
Kristen Wiig's character.
All right. But obviously Melissa McCarthy, controversy last week, because some critic came out and said, look, she's basically in her current movie, which has got like 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, she described her character as a hippo, and people saying that's inappropriate.
It's a bit rude.
Yeah.
But she's got a show called Mike and Molly, and it's pretty much about her and her partner Mike, and they're overweight, and it's kind of like, well, I think she's aware that she weighs a bit more than the average girl.
Well, it's not clever commentary. Oh, she's fat. Big deal. I mean,
Yeah,
if
it's
But is it weird that the two biggest girls in comedy, well, not the two biggest, there's
Two of
like
the
Kirsten
new
Wiig, Rebel
examples
Wilson, and
of
Melissa
French.
McCarthy, and two of them are like bigger girls.
I think, well, do you know what? There's, like, I remember hearing about an actress saying once that she couldn't get work because she was chubby, but she was told by her agent pretty much, you're not fat enough to be the fat friend in the movies.
Yeah.
You can't just be chubby. You've either got to be super teeny tiny or the fat chick. And it's like, unfortunately, that's how it goes. Like, they're both funny women who capitalize on the fact that they are overweight. And I guess as long as it's more about whether they're happy about it. But I mean, there's so many overweight male actors. Like, God, I can't think of any at the moment. But
Jack Black?
yeah, James Gandolfini. Like, people don't question their acting, and they carry a few extra kilos, but they're all awesome actors.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, Rebel Wilson, she's a Weight Watchers ambassador. I think she's aware that she's a bigger girl. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe also because obesity is such a big issue now in modern society, they are kind of Hollywood's a bit more forced now to include bigger women, unfortunately, usually.
Well, I've got something to come up with that about when Julie's question of the week, but we've got to get into science news.
Oh, science. I love science.
So
I'll be in my
latest,
element now.
Oh,
so
Half an hour crapping about women
everyone,
issues.
obviously, everyone's curious about when's our universe going to end. Latest theory is that our universe is going to be swallowed by an alternate reality. Rhett, I put you on the burner before the show to study up on this.
Yeah.
What do you got to tell us?
Okay.
This is related to the Higgs boson, which was discovered recently.
So, according to my 5 minutes of internet preparation, there's apparently some people have crunched some numbers on a theory that says that if the Higgs particle exists and it has a certain mass, then the universe will come to an end at some finite time in the future. It's something ridiculous, like 100 billion years.
But it'll be earlier than the heat death of the universe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super far away. I mean, I guess 100 billion is smaller than, 10 to the 23 billion years. And so, I think so. I don't know exactly how they've managed to crunch the numbers, but they say that this is a possibility if the Higgs particle does exist, which, CERN in typical fashion, they're sort of like, yeah, we think we've got statistical confirmation to 96% that we could have seen something that maybe is the Higgs boson, which is, as close as they're going to get. Well, maybe they'll get closer, but, they're saying, yeah, we think it's there. So I don't exactly know. It's a pretty big claim, though, saying that the universe will collapse in this amount of time.
From a new universe being born within ours. Is that what they're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what some of the news articles saying. I don't know if that's what the scientists themselves are saying. Yeah, they just reckon that the universe will. I should read on this. I'll tell you what. I'll read up on it more for next week.
You'll actually do some homework.
I'll do some homework.
Yeah.
And show notes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty big claim. Like, I don't know. I think like maybe some PhD student has done a what if calculation and gone, oh my god! And then the university's like, yes, let's run this story because we're going to get big headlines. Universe will die. You know.
But what's the timeline for this?
I think it was something like 100 billion years.
So it doesn't
in the
really matter
future.
to us.
Not to us.
Really.
I'm pretty unlikely.
But I mean, I remember seeing a Brian Cox show where he said that the end of the universe would be a heat death, and that will happen in a number of million years that is so big that we don't even have that number calculated yet.
I think I saw that, but I was just watching Brian.
I mean,
Not taking a lot in.
Thralls,
Feminist corner.
Keep moving your mouth, Brian. I don't care what you say.
just stay on the screen.
Yeah.
I think. So I mean, with the heat death of the universe, it's pretty much some point in the distant future where everything will spread out, like kind of in a sense, and be spread out in the most spread out everything can be. Like the sun won't be at the sun. All the particles and all the photons will be spread across the universe, and everything will be boring because it'll be homogeneous and bland. But even with the heat death of the universe, and okay, it's not my field, but I'm not even to even calculate when that'll be really difficult. And I don't even know if everything will just settle to a state of blandness, because like bodies of matter like condense into planets, and planets they're not in a hurry to matter isn't in a hurry to fly its own separate way. So
it's the star they're revolving around goes supernova.
Yeah, well, even then, like you've got a bunch of matter and. Like, so it's an open question as to whether there will actually even be a heat death.
If there was, do you think, because I know it's not your area, but like let's say in that very distant future there somehow is still life on Earth and we haven't all killed each other from fighting and using up resources, would it be a quick flash of light death, or would it be it's getting really hot?
Well, the idea with the heat death is everything just kind of how you take some you have a glass of water and you have some cordial, okay, and they're all separate and all concentrated. You add that cordial to that water and the cordial just kind of spreads throughout that liquid.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a bit like, what the heat death is like. Everything spreads out into a state of
But would it be a
uniform
quick
disorder.
spread?
No, very slow and very boring. It's a very boring way to die.
So would we just be watching it going, well, this is boring.
Yeah.
It's a little warm now.
Yeah.
20 years later, it's a half a degree warmer.
It probably wouldn't even be. I mean, it's not death in the sense of warmness, because if you spread all the matter and all the energy and smear it across the universe, it's still not a very warm place.
And aren't we losing heat? If everything's spreading out, wouldn't
so it'd be more that we just lose
the heat
our...
death? It's like entropy.
It's like it's like nothing is sort of exists as separate entities. It's very hard to draw energy from things because everything is uniformly spread anywhere.
So I was just imagining the sun swallowing us up.
Well, but by then we would, our sun's due to go, in 5 billion years?
Yeah, the sun's due to blow long before that. So
so maybe that's what I'm thinking. Would that?
I think if anything's going to kill humans, big boom, supernova, sun.
Would that
Is
be
our
quick?
sun big enough to go supernova? Oh, does it have to? Is there a certain size?
I think all suns go supernova.
No, because some don't. Some don't. Some do something else.
She reads New Scientist. She knows.
I read you say.
You sexist.
Yeah. So what happens with?
Right.
I think.
No, don't they become white
You can
dwarfs
prove
or
me
like a
wrong.
dwarf
I'm going,
star or
what
something?
happens?
That is
Or
such a
black
man
hole.
thing to say.
So I think our sun will become supernova because what happens is like at the moment it's smashing together helium and burning that off, and then eventually the helium is going to start smashing helium atoms together and form carbon. And then it'll get hotter, and then it's going to start smashing carbon atoms together to make energy, and those will form iron. And so the sun gets hotter and hotter with these processes until, I don't know if I think our sun's going to go supernova. That's something to check up. But yeah, the idea with suns is they burn hotter and hotter until.
Just for the layman here, would that mean that we would get a quick flash of light?
I think we'd be gone by then because when it's dying, it's growing.
Yeah, it grows in size, it grows in temperature, so the sun does get really hot.
So it would just be like...
So Earth will kind of be cooked, I think, and then eventually
Would
the
that
sun...
be quick? I'm just thinking of my great times
Well, hopefully have the
trillion
technology to
grandchildren.
travel to
Yeah.
a new star system.
I'm just saying, just in case, and we've left some guinea pigs there to see, just the kids we really didn't like at school, and we've left them there. What would happen to them possibly?
It's sort of like I don't know if you've ever read. There's a science fiction series, Dying Earth, or
Unless it was Red Dwarf, I would not.
No, okay, no, it would be like slow. They'd see it coming. The world would start changing. Plants would start dying. The temperature would get hotter. Or if you watch there's another science fiction movie where the sun gets dimmer. But anyway,
it's not
Sunshine.
Sunshine. Yeah, that's the one.
I'm all too familiar with that film.
Yeah. And no, I think
Cillian Murphy and his beautiful semi-Brian Cox face.
all the horrible psychopaths.
As I do when there's a full moon, I go outside and try and enjoy the night sky. I walked out and saw this. Obviously living in a city, there's lots of light pollution. Plus a full moon. That creates its own light pollution. Means you can't see many stars in the sky. But I was just struck by this big red light in the sky.
Oh yeah.
Not that big, but a big red, distinctly
Noticeable.
red star.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that must be Mars, right? Because when you see Mars, it has a red tone to it. So I brought out my Star Walk, which is a great app I use. I'll link it in the show notes. I use for my iPhone, and it it uses augmented reality to you look up and it shows you what star you're looking at. And
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was looking at Belize.
I may have to look into that.
I was looking at, I think the star was called Belize, which is 620 light years away, but it's one of the biggest known stars in the system.
Yeah,
and
okay.
if it's in our solar system, its edge would be where the orbit of Mars is, so it would have completely swallowed up Earth.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, it's staggering.
And they think that it's actually already gone supernova, but because it takes 620 years for the light to get it, we don't know when we'll actually see it.
We'll just see a big flash in
some
the
point
sky.
in the next 500 years.
That's another way the all life on Earth could end. A star has gone supernova and will be washed with gamma and X-rays.
Would that shred our Van Allen belts?
So we can't go underground?
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know how much warning do you get for these things? Yeah, because it's light. So
But doesn't our magnetic field protects us to some extent from plasma, gamma rays, that kind of thing?
Not really from gamma radiation.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's photon. Our sun, our magnetosphere protects us from the solar wind.
Okay.
So
but that's-
particles,
not
charged
same as gamma rays,
particles.
okay.
But I think our atmosphere does actually protect us to some because it absorbs, a fraction of the radiation and reflects a fraction of the radiation coming from the sun. But again, it's a complicated field.
This NASA site that I'm looking at is suggesting that our star will not go supernova, but it will go nebula.
Yep.
And then possibly become a white dwarf.
Yep.
But a larger star, a massive star, goes supernova.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's good. Okay, so we'll probably be encased in.
Like it will
nebula?
go. Like when it goes, it will expand
yeah.
and then it will shrink.
All right, so NASA, hurry up with the space program.
Dragging your feet. Come on.
So, did you know that Saturn has a hexagonal North Pole?
I did
No.
because I read the show.
Yes.
No, I didn't. That's amazing.
No one knows why.
That's amazing.
But the wind circulates in a hexagonal pattern.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it's probably an alien spaceship that's landed there. The logical explanation.
Yeah.
is hexagonal.
Hey, guys,
Occam's razor.
aliens.
Occam's razor says an alien's
We're listening to that
because the
podcast
South
you're talking about,
Pole,
Jules.
South Pole swirls it all, but it's just a perfect whirlpool, Their North Pole, hexagonal. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can see the videos of it.
Yeah, okay.
Cassini's obviously photographing it
All right.
as it orbits.
Oh, that is amazing. That is a stunning picture.
That.
Sorry, the people listening this late at the show can't see what I'm seeing.
Mm.
Oh, unless you go to the show notes and check it out, which I
And they're
encourage you. to
roughly
do.
equal size.
At
as well.
fangingaround.com.
So what is that?
That's the North Pole of Saturn.
That's
Oh.
you can see the rings.
That's a
And
truly,
that's a shadow.
that's a truly
over the
beautiful
rings.
picture.
But if you go down, you can see. Can you click
Yeah.
on something that says video down here somewhere?
Oh, we got a video of it.
Well, it's just a GIF. That
Oh yeah.
It's an awesome
go to
website.
Apple F video. Probably you'll find it. But yeah. So that's really weird. Like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a spaceship landed that's affecting the wind currents. Obviously, Saturn's so big that hexagon is probably 4 times the size of Earth. I don't know, but
Yeah.
It says that 4 Earths would fit into that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like, how does a planet generate a magnetic field? That's still like a question scientists haven't.
But don't you
figured
need
out for
a
Earth.
molten core?
Yes. Well, yeah. I molten core helps, but you get down to low altitudes in Saturn. I don't know what they got down there, but I assume it. Like I know in Jupiter, if you go down far enough, you got hydrogen as a gas in the atmosphere, and then you get deeper and deeper, and it's under so much pressure, it actually is like a metallic hydrogen. You go deep enough, so and it'd be extremely hot too because it's under pressure and being compressed by the gravity of the whole planet.
What's Neptune like? That's my favourite.
Neptune.
Because it's the prettiest.
Yeah.
Because I'm really scientific.
It's more interesting than Uranus. Uranus is just the most boring planet in the whole solar system.
That's why they had to give it a
Yeah.
funny name.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
rotation of the
wow.
hexagon.
Oh, well done. Is this NASA again? God, is there anything NASA can't do?
Well, they've got a Cassini space probe, nuclear power probe that flies around.
I got to say, I'm a huge fan, and I love NASA. I love it. Pretty much everything they do. And,
I remember reading about like NASA astronauts. Like I know it would take a lot to be an astronaut, but
An astronaut.
an astronaut. But it is crazy. Like their whole lives are just completely centered around it. Like I don't know how they form relationships. Like it's just
Yeah.
so full on sounding. And like that when that woman was found, the one that stalked her fellow astronaut wearing the diapers, they said it was just because they are just they're so incredibly smart and motivated and driven that they're almost dumb in other areas. They don't know how to handle things like
yeah, right.
relationships and rejection. And
I've heard
stuff
a
like
similar
that.
thing for who was that? Petraeus, when he had that affair, and there was a similar.
Is this the guy who murdered his girlfriend?
No. He was the head of the CIA,
Oh, okay.
and he was the the commander not in chief, but of the initial, I think, forces in Iraq during the most recent.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
He did the surge and all of that, I think. And there was this big thing because he had an affair with his biographer.
Oh.
And that was huge news. Do you know?
Yeah,
and he had to resign. He didn't have to resign. He wasn't forced to resign, but allegedly he chose to resign just before the election, the most recent election. But I don't know. Some people have said psychologists have talked about people who are in such who are so highly driven and in these like high tension environments that they are great at reacting in their kind of high tension environments. But when you throw anything that's kind of emotional in there, they react in really inappropriate and strange ways. They don't know how to handle, feelings.
Yeah.
And, and then he's acting crazy. Like he was not acting crazy, but he's sending emails to his biographer, and they're through this really through a traceable like Hotmail account, and they're not even bothering to hide their relationship because they're not thinking clearly, and it was suggesting that people
they're used to having like people clean up after them, like they. As in, like, they've got personal assistants.
He was the head of the CIA, and he's not even bothering to cover his tracks because he was like in this, not seeing red is not the right term, but like he's just, his judgment is clouded because he's unused to dealing with these kind of things.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about the Russians, and hopefully the Russians have a cool solution, but the Americans are not allowed to take alcohol up into the space station. So you have to go. If you're living,
want that.
you have
I don't
to be
want
up there for 6 months without alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're on the coolest place on manned locations, and you can't get drunk and stare out the window.
Well, I think it says a lot about your reliance on alcohol.
I know.
There's lots of people who don't
as
drink.
we've discussed on the podcast, I'm currently on a alcohol dependence program. So. It's part of an experiment. Part of a lawful experiment.
I would actually be fine with not drinking. Like, that would not even factor.
Oh, I wouldn't be like, I'm not going because I'm alone, but I'll be trying to sneak something up there.
We're drinking the hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Yep, you can drink
It's probably is alcohol in this hand.
Yeah.
No, haven't I?
It is. I mean, that's why.
Have I not told this story? There was a man who was on the prison ward of a hospital, and pretty much like they're really closely guarded to make sure that they don't get any luxuries or anything. And this inmate was an alcoholic. And the nurse, pretty much from what I can remember, the nurse had like refilled those massive hand sanitizer things that they have near all of the patients' beds. And she came back the next day and it was completely empty because this
He's a very clean man.
Yeah, he had drunk it. And they just did all of these tests to make sure he was okay. And I think he was. It's just like, I actually don't know if they should have reported it because it's like, well, now people are going to be like, oh, all right.
It's hard to drink. It's very gel.
It would be vile.
You'd want willpower to.
I've done my hands with Dettol sometimes and then eaten something and like it's gotten on there and it tastes disgusting. And I can't imagine like drinking it, but he did. Such was his dependence on alcohol.
Something to look forward to.
That just tells you.
Jacob's like, Dettol.
I'd go there.
I never got to say what I'm consuming, but I watched Miranda July's The Future, which is her most recent film. It's the second film. The last film was like Me, You, and Everyone We Know. That's not an exact title, but it was a very big indie film back in 2005 or something like that. She's married to Mike Mills, which is one of my favorite filmmakers. He did The Beginners and stuff like that. But I mean, that's not a big deal. I mean, those guys are all connected to they're all connected with like the Roman, the Coppolas' siblings, and But it was a very strange film. I don't think it was. From memory, I haven't seen her last film in a long time, but it didn't seem as good. But it was still, enjoyable watch. Is that the one about
the dog?
No, the cat.
The cat, yeah. I saw like a preview for it.
Something happened to the cat?
Well, I
can't tell you that.
No, I've had
but
it spoiled
they try and
for me.
adopt a terminally ill cat, so you can predict what happens. But
That sounds like a really
Don't want to ruin the ending.
but
about
like a
this.
tear-jerker story.
them adopting a terminally ill cat, you know, provides a timeline, and giving their relationship a timeline sets chaos in motion, you know.
Okay.
Because before then they were quite happy couple, and as soon as they had a timeline in their life, which was this cat.
Yeah. It just brought about the end of... okay.
So that's, but I mean, that's such a simplistic way of viewing, because obviously it's Miranda July. It's weird.
My sister was highly unimpressed.
And
with
then
that movie.
the moon is a big character in that film as well. You know? So
Yeah.
I identify with that aspect.
You got to see.
Oh, you've seen it?
No, I've seen
okay.
like they showed a lot in the
On the trailer. Okay.
on the trailer.
Oh,
That
see,
I
I
saw.
never watched the trailer. I just was like, oh, Miranda July, I'll check this out.
Well, I didn't really know much about like the Yumi and everyone, you know. And my sister said, "Oh yeah, that's like a big hipster thing. They love it." And so when I saw that, I was just like, "What the hell was that?" And she was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm probably going to see that just so that I can slag it off with conviction because
And
that's what she does."
I highly recommend seeing it in high definition, because I was watching it, and the way, I don't know, they just filmed it. It was such a, I don't know, the way they filmed it, I felt like I was in the room with the people, you know.
Did you like it?
I was watching it obviously 110-inch screen, which not many people have.
3 inches away from it,
yeah.
your nose nearly touching.
Yeah, and I felt, it just felt so real, which...
was your world.
2 meter
You know, I
high
imagine
speakers attached to your
I'm really
ears.
curious that will people actually notice the difference of 4K when we go to 4K in the next couple of years. But
So did you like it, the movie?
yes and no. I mean, it
Does the
wasn't.
cat-
It was worth the money of admission.
Does the cat narrate
I paid to
things?
watch
Because that's
yes,
what I picked.
he's the narrator. Yeah.
Awful voice. I just remember that's what
Yeah.
got me. I was like, that looks awful.
Oh, they actually had the cat vocalized?
Just a cat eat lasagna.
Yeah, but it's pretty clearly Miranda July going, I'm a cat.
I need to get
God, this
this
sounds like the
trailer.
worst movie ever.
Man.
I need to get this trailer up because I was just in an outdoor theatre when I
I'll
was
put
watching
the link to the
it.
trailer in the show notes.
And I had like a piece of food in front of my mouth and I was ready to eat it and it just never made it in because I was like staring open mouthed with this look of confusion.
My third day of cat cancer.
I'm going to die.
Question,
Pretty sure that's how she sounds.
question of the week. Oh, is anyone else?
yeah.
Do you have anything in your corner you want to get on your soapbox about?
Horny.
Pretty sure Feminism Corner was well documented this week.
That's
so.
just so.
Well, yeah, apparently James is a bigger feminist than all of us
I know.
combined.
I'm a huge feminist.
He
something.
supports
Champion.
the women's rhythmic gym Olympic
Gymnastics,
team.
yeah, exactly.
Champion of
Rhythmic
feminism.
gymnastics, synchronized swimming. I'm all down.
Actually, I watched Austin Powers last week, and they had an awesome synchronized swimming bit, and I thought of this podcast as I watched it.
I objectified Elizabeth Hurley in that movie. Is that bad?
She was, I think. I always have this conversation. I think she was the best Powers girl.
Oh yeah,
because
definitely.
she was just plummy English.
Who's the girl in the third one?
Beyonce. You know, some little old girl called Beyonce.
Sorry,
kind of
sorry.
fan.
It
You
wasn't
didn't notice her because of her skin colour.
No, I did know it was Beyonce. I was thinking there was 4 films. Or
Probably just focusing on how substandard that movie was compared to the first two.
I went to see it in the cinema. It was fun. It was a fun cinema film.
Fun flick, yeah. Good afternoon.
Other than making
Probably I haven't
fun
watched
of-
it since. So
other than making fun of the Dutch, I wasn't that into the movie.
question of the week, Julie.
What are your deal breakers for friendships or,
Deal breakers, though.
I could do okay. So this was my example. I have at least 2 friends who actively believe that the moon landing was a hoax, and
Whoa.
it is really hard for me. That's almost if they were new people, I would not become friends with them.
Yeah.
I find
They didn't let that one out overnight, did they?
I was I was
that
kind of
quiet.
ganged up on. It was like and then like, how could you believe it was real? And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Do you not have a?
How can you believe it was real with all that evidence?
You had a crowd trying to peer pressure you into asking why do you believe this? That's like some kind of story
Oh,
or
it's weird. And
movie or French film or I don't know.
And maybe it leads into maybe the bigger deal breaker for me. Anyone that blindly believes a conspiracy theory just because it's, it's not that mainstream idea. Like anyone that believes, the Americans are always behind everything, and they're behind a lot of things, but they're not behind everything. And it really, that shits me, and that's kind of a deal breaker for me. Believing the moon landings are faked. Do you have any? I mean, apart from the obvious ones of like racist friends or sex,
I had an ex
obviously, I think the moon landings are fake.
Are you serious?
I put it up. I think it's just as likely as that they landed.
But do you really think the Russians would have not been able to find definitive proof by now? Like
the Russians were watching were tapping into it happening.
If it was that easy to go, the Russians would have gone.
But they
tried.
It wasn't easy at all.
They didn't even attempt to go. They sent a robot there.
Yeah, but there was independent verification. The Russians verified it themselves that it happened. Their all of these telescopes and observatories were involved over.
It wasn't until the most recent moon orbiter, the LRO, the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, that actually took the first photos of the moon landing, and even then with one of the most high-powered non-military cameras in the world, all it was like these little pixels, and I'm like, they have better photos of the rovers on Mars.
They were tracking it, like, I don't know, audio. They were tracking. They didn't, because they could have come out and said it was fake. It didn't happen. But there were thousands of people involved in the whole
When
operation.
They go back,
they're never going to go back because it's fucking pointless.
Why?
Why? What's on the moon?
Helium-3.
And how do you bring that back? Like, how is it? How does that make money?
The Russians are trying to do it right now. And the Chinese are trying to do it right. Why are the Americans not going to go back? That's because they don't want anyone to find out that they never went.
I can't. Deal breaker.
The Americans are going back, but as corporations.
Pun? They don't want to go to the moon. They want to go to Mars.
Well, corporations want to go to the moon.
Because they're not in on the secret that it never happened.
Oh my god!
NASA doesn't want to go to Mars.
I think you're just trying to stir some.
They're all like, Bush was like, let's go back to moon, and was like, oh crap, the idiot president said let's go back to the moon. Let's bring Obama, and he's like, oh no, we're not going back to the moon. We're going to go to an asteroid. Let's not prove that we actually went to the moon.
But why do they need to prove it? Why send some people out there to prove to the people?
Because in the 1960s, right, when you were watching, if you were alive in 1969 when you were watching the moon landing, you were actually watching a video of someone taping, like another screen. Like it was such the easiest way to fake something that you could ever have.
But
and I'm not saying I'm not a believer that's 100%, but I give people who go out their way to find evidence that exists that there's I've seen some really weird evidence out there.
What kind of evidence?
Like just they're taking photos. Like there's these famous photos of people on Mars, and it's like there's people sitting on this landmass, and then there's just this sudden drop off, and then there's this background. And it looks exactly like a Hollywood set. How these Hollywood special effects masters at a time would create a Hollywood set, and their excuse is, that's the effect of the horizon, and there's no atmosphere to create things. I'm like, well, that's fair enough, but I am willing to. There's a doubt in my mind, and if you're putting us in court and you're giving us, there's not a overwhelming sense of doubt,
There's plenty of independent verification, including not just those photos, but photos taken earlier and. I don't know. I just think you're just trying too hard.
If you look at 2001, A Space Odyssey that Kubrick directed, right, came out in 1968, and it was being made just as the first robots were landing on the moon, and how accurate he got the landscape without actually going there. It's just
Yeah, but they had a lot of things that they were like, this is definitive proof that the moon landing didn't happen. Things like the flag, whether it moved or not, and they
I don't believe that.
that.
I don't agree with them.
The missions were tracked by radar from several countries on the way to the moon and back. Okay. Fully referenced.
Do you think,
including the Soviet Union,
or just the pride saying, we have the ability to track the radar of this?
I don't know.
Do you think so you think no one has been to the moon at all?
No, I'm not one of those people who was like, it definitely didn't happen. I'm just willing to believe the doubts that someone put forward.
Okay.
I think they're just as realistic as some of the things they put out there.
I think overwhelmingly there's stuff to support the people.
And I'm perfectly willing to believe it. They just have to go back.
Overwhelmingly.
But that's a lot of money to spend just to prove a bunch of conspiracy
how do you-
Well,
how
they
do
should go there for
but
healing
James-
free, just like the Russians and China.
But how do you know
Yeah,
that?
but they're not worried about them.
If
going
if people go back, how do you know that they're not just faking the going back? Like, when does
If they were that worried,
We're in the Matrix.
They'd be making they'd be
Everything's
making a
fake.
big attempt to get up there before anyone else could, just to like stick a flag there and be like, "Hey, look, just how we left it." Like, wouldn't they be more inclined to want to go up? I'm just participating. I know that you could go either way, so this isn't your opinion, but I'm just saying, like, if the thing is why won't they go back? Well, why would they bother? Because financially, it's a lot of money to put into something that they've already done, and if they hadn't done it, they would want to get up there before anyone else could to disprove the fact that
Yeah,
they've
there's no Cold War race going on anymore. Well, currently, there's nothing to spur them on. I mean, the moon landings. Was,
Yeah, exactly. But there's also nothing. There's nothing to motivate them right now to fake it just to beat the Russians, because at that time, when there's no internet and people learning each other way, the sheer media publicity of being the first country to land on the moon was huge then. That was the first big worldwide event.
the Russians
right?
should have made more of an effort to debunk it, but they didn't. They came out and said, "Yes, we accept
Because
that this happened."
they didn't know how to get there, and they didn't put any effort into faking it.
But they would have known that, like,
I think you're reaching.
I just don't think they would have. I don't think it would have gotten past them. The Russians are smart. At the end of the day, like, there's kind of the whole,
look,
they
I
didn't
think-
make it. They
I
don't
think
know what they're talking about.
NASA
They do.
had the technology to go. I just think there is, if we're looking on a percentage scale, there's a 25. I think there's a 25% chance that it was faked. And I think 75% it actually happened.
The Russians had the technology. They were sending. They weren't sending people up to the moon, but they were sending aircraft. Well, not aircraft. Yeah, spacecraft up
Yeah.
there, and they kept crashing.
Sample return aircraft,
Yeah.
but they didn't launch
So-
until 2 years after the.
what about the samples that the original, the Apollo mission brought back?
Oh, they must be fake.
Pardon?
They must be fake. Because they have. What about the lunar rocks that were brought back as samples?
Yeah, well, one of them was proved to be fake.
What about the others?
If they're willing to willing to give one fake rock out, why wouldn't all of them be fake?
I don't know anything about the fake rock, so I can't.
Well, that's just one of the things that they gave out some fake rocks just to please people.
Oh.
Because they only brought back so many.
Well, they should have just said we bought.
Well,
5
exactly.
back and
This
we're
is one of the
keeping
many
them.
things they should have done to not have doubters continually doubting them.
If it was such a perfectly constructed conspiracy, I don't know. It's just
Well, I had
literally 4,000 people
The
involved
only
from NASA alone. like-
era you could do this is in the late 1960s, where you had all this new film technology coming in, and the lack of internet and widespread phone and fax usage, where people would spread secrets out around the world. Like it's.
So what the Parkes observatory? What was that? What signal was that relaying? If that is literally pointed at the freaking moon, relaying the
You
signal.
can have a satellite out relaying the message back.
It's
This is
just
a big
it's
deal
just
breaker, visually.
It's
But
beyond
that's-
reasonable
that's the
doubt. I
point
think is the
that's
term.
the whole point. Is that
But that's not reasonable doubt.
If you're
That's-
going-
Yeah.
you can find
It's-
any bit of. Oh,
that's the whole point. Is whether the main theory that this whole hoax rolls on is that the spaceships at the time didn't have enough radiation protection to protect astronauts to go into the radiation that's around the moon, so they could quite easily fake the signal from orbit, but like a geosynchronous
Wouldn't
orbit.
with the satellite, if there was a satellite up there, would that be moving faster than the moon?
Look,
I mean, surely these people operating the
if they
telescopes
can have
would be
if
recognizing
you can
that
have
following-
geosynchronous orbits of satellites that project TV to us, every day without moving over, without losing signal with Australia, right? You can have one that pretends to be the moon,
beyond reasonable doubt. I don't think you're being reasonable.
I don't know about this. There's like lack of radiation protection. I don't.
Deal breaker.
I don't know where all this is coming from, man.
Big old deal breaker.
Well, at least, you're not the no. Look, the people that I'm thinking of were like, no, it's
Oh, yeah.
fake. There's no way
Back to
it
the-
was real.
back to the question.
At least James.
I'm the biggest NASA fan there is.
I had an-
Every day I don't want to say this, but I've had intimate relations with ISS. You know, like
Desires.
I find the ISS sexy. Like I'm all about that, you know. But
Oh my god.
Is ISS the woman that you'll be thinking of?
no,
The one that got
it's
away.
completely unrelated. But you know,
Was it the astronaut in the
the
diapers?
ISS?
Was that the one who got, and
and
now you'll never be with her because she's in
you
jail?
know, the La Defense Arch in Paris, and the even the you know, I've talked about this on the podcast before, the light towers over Subiaco. I think they're very sexual objects. You know?
I will never look at Patterson Stadium again.
Are you one of those people that like is in love with like finds objects really sexy? What's the there's a
Yeah,
name for
like
it?
if you see
No, but I mean,
a
like,
cool
literally
car-
makes love to objects and falls in love with a brick wall
no,
or a
I
car.
Don't
or...
actually. I just fantasize about.
He can find the beauty in a sturdy.
But we're straying from
Find the
the main
beauty. I don't want to
topic.
fuck it.
Yeah.
If we're going back to the original topic, deal breakers
Yeah.
for me, for friends, is like for historically smoking. Like, if a friend of mine starts smoking, it's like, well, I can't hang out with you because you smell like cigarettes. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be
Okay.
near them when they're smoking because I've got like the lungs
yeah,
of
and
a baby.
that's like they're like, hey, like I remember I used to have parties at my family's beach house, you know, down near Rockingham, and
oh yeah.
you'd have these parties, and everyone, all the smokers had to go out on the balcony, and we would have these parties in winter, and it's like this storm outside, and it's sitting there going,
Yeah, I would never understand how they can go out in torrential rain
yeah,
and do it. Like
and I'm just like, that's a deal breaker. Like, we can't hang out.
I hang out with smokers, but I try not to encourage it
It's
too
just
much.
so gross. You end up smelling gross yourself just because.
Oh, my hair, because it's blonde. Absorbs.
I have heaps
Scent
of.
absorber.
I'm
Yeah,
a very
'cause it's
flawed
dry.
individual. You know, I have addictions as well. You know, like I had a big addiction to Diet Coke, but I didn't spit out my Diet Coke on other people. You
I'm
know?
actually on a no sweeteners kick at the moment. It's not a health kick because my diet is nothing at all healthy, but I refuse to have Diet Coke and Equal and everything because I'm convinced that they're giving me little. Well, I already get tension headaches, but I don't think they were helping.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know the lure of the Diet Coke.
Well, it tastes a lot better than real Coke.
You get used to it after a while, and then you have a real Coke, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so syrupy. And
Kind of.
There's so much
too
salt
much.
in real Coke that actually makes you thirsty to drink more. Like, that's the whole idea of Coke. It's just the salt.
they're onto something.
Yeah,
It's just like you might as well just eat a teaspoon of salt. Like,
it's pretty insidious. Yeah.
And it's also, I've never understood the colour of Coke. It's the most
also
unattractive.
deal breakers being a Fremantle Dockers supporter.
Oh, I've got a friend who's like that. I
You're
had
a Fremantle Dockers supporter. No.
No, I don't care about football.
Okay.
No, I just think it's funny.
They're my two big deal
Oh,
breakers.
sheesh. Deal breakers. Oh.
Well, maybe you're just a good person who doesn't have deal breakers.
No, but it really varies person to person. It sounds kind of ironic. Deal breakers.
So a deal breaker for one person would not be a deal breaker for another person.
So if they're hot, you'll take
yeah,
it.
exactly,
If
yeah.
they're not,
no,
hit the road, bitch.
no, it's
No,
not.
she's a heroin addict. Oh, makes it easier. That's all.
But she keeps her figure so nice and trim. Probably because she doesn't eat.
No, can we come back to me? Can we come
All
back to
right,
me?
yeah,
I
you
need
can
a
think
minute.
about
I need a minute.
I
Oh,
had
what was
an
there-
ex-boyfriend who, as a joke, convinced me that he was a Holocaust denier, and that was a deal breaker. Like
that even he would joke about that.
I was having a little well, no, because after I actually was just like, that is so not cool to joke about, but he just decided in the middle of San Churros, a sacred place for me because I love that place. He just started, we were talking about Mel Gibson, and he goes, oh, well, you know, like, because I was saying, oh, his dad is crazy. He talks about, you know, he's a Holocaust denier, and he says this, and he was like, oh, well, you know, when you think about it, he's got a bit of a point, and just went on for about 5 minutes, and it was pretty much just 5 minutes of me the whole time going, are you serious? No, are you serious? Are you is this happening? Is this happening? And yeah, I was planning my breakup the entire time, and I was still planning it for about 20 minutes after I found out it was a joke. That was a massive deal breaker. So conspiracy theories, especially involving the Holocaust, not cool. Not cool at all in my book.
Not cool. Yeah.
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
One of my female muses, she went on a bit of a... Like, she broke up with a long-time boyfriend and went on a guy binge. And it all ended when she sort of just snapped to it in the middle of making out with a Nazi skinhead. It's just like, what am I doing in my life? You know, and that's what brought her out of that binge.
I had a friend with skinhead brothers. She wasn't a skinhead, which is the only reason I hung out with her. And I told her, I don't think I would get on with your brothers because I don't like skinheads who are racist. And her reply to me, I went to a classy school, remember, was, oh no, babe, they fucking love you because you're so fucking pale. So, yeah. Apparently, they'll love me. I'm not a deal breaker with
not a
my
deal breaker.
pasty skin and my pumping pipes. But, yeah.
Anyone else?
What about you, Jules?
Other than conspiracy theory.
Oh, well, that was my big one. I'm sure I have little ones in. I used to put them on the.
The little ones are the funny ones.
I have a little, whiteboard on the fridge when I used to live with my other friend, and I would just have deal breakers up there, and I would just put them up every so often. And her boyfriend thought I was mental.
What are some of the highlights?
Oh, I can't even remember. They were just, they were the smallest things, and I can't remember what they were now, but it seemed important at the time.
Personally, if they ate a lot of cucumber, because I physically cannot handle the scent of cucumber if they wore a lot of cucumber-based scents or moisturizers.
Are there a lot of cucumber-based scents?
I think it's Elizabeth Arden or Lancome. One of them does a really good moisturizer, and I got a really nice sample of it from my aunt, and it has cucumber extract in it, and I just put it on my face, and all I can smell is cucumber, and so I can't use it. I had to pass up that sweet sample. So, yeah, no, I can't. It's a deal breaker for me because I hate cucumber so much.
Yeah.
Pettiest deal breaker ever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So,
if you love me, you'll give up the cucumbers. They always leave.
I think I owe probably one as well now.
Petty ones, come on, guys.
Oh, no, it's going to be a less petty one. I think, it might be a bit lame, but like peer pressure beyond reason. I don't mind a bit of peer pressure, but after about the fifth, insistence on, come on, it's just like, fucking no, just let me know.
You run to your room and slam the door a lot, don't you?
Yeah, just, no, I'm going to go and play on my computer now. Yeah. That's kind of like, if you're insisting like, just try this, go on, just try it, man. Like, no, I don't want to try.
God, I tried to give you crystal meth once, and you just had to be such a pansy about it.
I still want to try crystal meth, okay?
Try it.
No.
Try it. 5 times will
5 times,
work.
that's it. Deal breaker. Right there.
Yeah, you didn't have to punch me in the face. We'll be talking about this in Feminist Corner next week.
Oh, the shame.
No, I was just saying, I think he was in his rights as a woman. You may punch me. No, not really.
No, it's never okay. It's never okay.
That's a deal breaker, actually.
That is a deal breaker.
Even though I am pro women's rights, hitting chicks not cool in relationships. Or actually, no, hitting in general. I don't agree with girls who hit guys and they do it because they know that their partners legally can't do anything.
Well, they can't legally hit them. I mean,
unless...
But then nobody's going to report it.
Yeah,
because,
that no one reports that.
Unless...
Except Stephen Hawking.
Okay, and we should say, I guess this is like, unwanted hitting versus like your passion is kung fu, and both your passions are kung fu. And
Does that happen a lot?
dear.
Like foreplay? Like,
no,
kung fu so
no.
Rats Kung Fu Corner's going to be a lot kinkier next week.
There is no kung fu couples that I know of. It's
You're just looking for the right.
when they we'll just eyes will meet, and then there'll just be this.
And then there'll be a star in your forehead.
What's the worst thing that someone could do that would not be a deal breaker?
The worst thing that someone could do.
so
Obviously, this is you're looking at yourself and going, what would I accept? To
Like, would
get
you
the
accept,
woman or man I want?
Okay, so you're not already in a relationship.
How far would I go to blow off their indiscretions?
So yeah, would you forgive someone cheating
Yeah,
on
what
you?
would you, what would you forgive? What's the worst thing that you would forgive?
I don't know. If I was married for like 20 years and then somebody, I don't know. It depends. It depends on the circumstances.
It really does also, like, if from what you can gather, it's because, they'll say, oh, I was drunk, it was a one-off. But a lot of times indiscretions will be calculated, like planned things that, like, that's really something that would be hard to get past because it's like, oh, you're locking your phone, you're using another account. Like, I've got a few friends who've had that happen to them. And it's like, if it's something like that, I think as opposed to my boyfriend went out and got drunk, that's still very hard to get past, but it's a bit less of the, like, calculated.
Yeah,
but even both are bad, but I guess it's the lesser of two evils. I don't know if I could get past either of them. I think they're both deal breakers, really.
yeah.
If you get past someone murdering someone?
In self-defense.
Well, like,
Well, wouldn't be murder then. It would be self-defense, wouldn't it? It's like murder implies intention.
Oh, yeah.
Does it? Yeah. Like,
Oh, well, I guess kill. Do you mean kill someone or murder? As in
Yeah,
they murder?
well, I mean, someone. Oh, I guess you could say killing someone. Like, I mean,
Was it like a pedophile?
obviously,
or something?
if they did it for a reason, you still know at the depths of your heart that they have the ability to murder someone.
I think
you know?
a lot of
To
people have the
kill
ability.
someone.
I probably have the ability to kill someone, but
yeah.
do I
If they're
deserve forgiveness?
threatening your children or something like that.
Possibly. I think I would do it in revenge.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Depending
So you would
on
sympathise with someone who did that?
Yeah, I would, but could I get past it?
I guess they are.
Maybe not.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't know of anyone who's murdered someone.
Oh, yeah, a likely story.
But, I don't know. I guess if you're already friends with them and they murdered someone, assuming you're friends with them, I probably wouldn't be worried about them murdering you, I guess, depending upon the
I don't know.
circumstances.
Who did they murder? Did they
Yeah.
murder a former friend?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing, I'd be like, well, how would they deal with how they murdered someone? Like, what are they just going to, like, try and cover it up? Or I'd be more concerned with, like, how are they going to handle it based on the situation? But I don't know.
I think it'd have to be the most extenuating circumstances to get, like, literally, like, someone who did something so heinously horrible, and it was one of
Yeah.
those stop them before they can do it to anyone else, or like, that would, I don't know.
I said that I think I'm capable of murdering someone. I think a lot of, I think I'm capable of killing someone.
Everyone at the heart.
But I'm
of
not saying that
human
that's a
nature.
good thing, and that
No.
yeah.
no.
So like I
Of course
probably
not.
would judge someone who did that,
So you're not
just
like
as I would judge
Batman
myself.
who, no matter what, will just apprehend them and hope justice prevails.
No, because no. But I'm not saying that's. Yeah, I don't know. I think Batman is onto probably a good thing, but it didn't work out for him, in The Dark Knight Rises. So
Actually, this whole thing kind of segues a bit onto my question, which was sort of related. But okay, so I don't know whether any of you are vegetarian, non-vegetarian, doesn't matter. This question will apply. How much? What would someone have to offer you to convert you from non-vegetarian to vegetarian for life, or vice versa?
I love meat.
Yeah, so
probably not much.
What would be the, like, sort of the break-even point where you'd at least start going, maybe, but it would be a strict enforced sort of thing. So
If they're offering to cook for me, then that's
yeah,
fine.
if I could have fabulous vegetarian food.
It's
Okay,
not. I don't know.
alright.
I already try to limit my meat intake, so it's like I'm that middle
But, like,
ground. I'm that
if-
agnostic,
Does it
meat
include
eater. That,
poultry? Because turkey bacon, I could
It's a
have
meat.
that instead of.
it is
So
a meat.
it's all even
It's-
fish,
Yes,
Yes, fish is
even
a meat.
fish, even
even
fish.
prawns,
Yes.
oh,
It's
okay. Well,
even lamb.
all meat-based products for the purposes of this argument. Yeah.
okay. Peter Singer, who
What about carrots? Because you're murdering them when you pull them out of the
Oh,
ground.
but they're plants.
I was
so
watching
It's okay.
Notting Hill last night.
Peter Singer, I think, is an
Fruitarian.
animal ethicist, whatever. And he's, really, pro-animal rights. And he has said that, he often says things just to be contentious, but he said that, don't eat meat, but you can eat things like mussels, bivalves, because they don't have brains, or that or the nervous systems, or that was the
But
What about lobsters? Because I don't like that they're
they
thrown
do have
alive.
brains.
but see,
They're alive. Like, can they
Oh,
feel
that's
it?
horrible. Oh, of course, surely they would feel it.
I don't like. I just
no.
think
So
nip
it's
them over the head with a knife.
it's not
Blunt
really
knife.
it's not really the ethics of eating animals. It's more like a.
But you've opened a can of worms.
I know. Oh, I'm all about how much is.
Oh my
is
god,
your...
we should just watch Can of Worms each week and steal their topics.
Sorry, our topics are way better.
kick their ass.
Look, if
Like $1 million.
someone said to me, if someone came to me and said, we'll dispose of your body in any way you want.
Okay.
I want to be fed to the sharks.
Yeah.
I want to re-enter the food chain.
Yeah.
But sharks
That's-
don't like to eat people generally.
Well, that's too bad for them.
They're missing out.
I want to re-enter the food
Can't you
chain.
be chopped
If
up
I
and
was
eaten by vultures?
If I was a cow,
like the Tibetans.
I don't want to be rotting in a paddock and nothing eating me.
My dad.
I want to
wants-
I want to be re-entering the food chain. Like, imagine.
Wait, you want us to eat you?
Cows
not
were
other human, not just other
domesticated as food. They're not like natural. I don't
Yeah.
know, it's-
humans. But any
Yeah, cows
animal,
wouldn't exist if we
every
were.
animal that dies in the wilderness is consumed by other animals,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay, even if it's just worms
But we
or
grow
dung
them to eat them.
beetles or anything like that, right? So I feel it's fair that if I wish to be entered back into the food chain, that I should be able to be part of the food chain.
But you're not farmed for your flesh. It's
I mean,
a cow is farmed for
totally-
its flesh. It probably.
this is a
I'd like a
this
choice.
is a recurring topic on
Cows with
Fangin'
guns.
Round. I don't think people should eat lamb
because they're little and babies.
because they're babies.
Well, no, I
You should have some good old mutton, or at least
I
hogget.
talked to someone
have some
about
hogget
this.
that's just as good as lamb, and they at least get an extra few months to live.
No,
and
but I
enjoy their
talked to
life.
someone about this because I said, I love lamb, but I feel guilty because I just, those cute, adorable little things. And I was told apparently
Lambs are bastards. It's okay to eat them.
they're total douches. No, apparently
Emo lambs.
they're not teeny tiny little lambs when they're killed because it's just completely.
They're adolescent lambs, so it's
Well,
okay.
they're 3 months
They're
old
like-
as opposed to 2 weeks
They're
old.
the
Yeah.
spotty.
They're not veal.
They're the spotty teenagers of the lamb area.
No, Hogget is the real teenager.
I know, but like
They're trying to just
they're-
butter you up.
This is someone who was just like, I don't care. You can eat it. You cannot eat it. Like, just did not care at all. But they just said they're not
No,
the cute,
I'll
tiny,
eat
adorable
Hogget,
things.
but I don't like to eat lamb.
God, I love lamb.
So,
Yeah.
I felt so much better when they told me that. And now you're trying to make me feel bad all over again.
I
I
think
just know they're not
animals have a chance to
total
live, and then
babies.
they should go in my belly.
I like.
And then I hope
Yeah.
to be in a belly of some animal in the future.
My dad, because he worked in Antarctica when I was younger, he has said he would like his ashes scattered in Antarctica because that
Whoa.
is where the world's
Wait, your
water
dad worked in
system-
Antarctica?
Yes. in
As
the-
a what?
What is it? Carpenter and also head of search and rescue team.
Oh, wow.
And
Jeez.
We
he
interviewed
actually
him
went
on
for
the
an interview to join them again. I don't know if he's going to go or not, but like
I've
Big-
always
big
wanted to
commitment.
work in Antarctica.
well,
Can he hook me up?
Australian
I have no
Arctic-
qualifications. I've done a video degree. Well, video.
I know. I was
civic-
like, nepotism, get me in. I think you need. I think you need
Cleaners?
to become a chef.
I once signed up.
don't need
for a
people to
year in
video what they're
Antarctica.
doing.
Should look
Document.
into it.
Yeah, I was signed up to be a weather scientist operating a laser beam in Antarctica.
Well, were you going to do that?
Yeah, just after my honours. But I didn't know anything about weather physics. I knew about lasers, but I didn't get an interview.
Oh, really? Oh, it's
I just want to be like a cook or something.
Can you?
Yeah, they have cooks. They have cooks.
Yeah, but I think you have to be a.
Look it up. I'm
I
sure.
looked up like what it takes to be a cook on the mine, and you have to have 2 years or 3 years studies.
Get on out there and start
Yeah,
cooking,
start
game.
I'm not that.
But you have to spend 13 months on a base.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm down with that.
13 straight months.
Don't they
I
give
pretty
you
much lived 13 months in his house without leaving.
Well, see, Dad loved it in the 90s because, well, he didn't love being away from his family because I was an adorable child. But it was when the internet was, in its, baby stage. It was in its lamb stages, approaching the hog
Do you have
stages.
non-twin siblings?
What? No. So it was just us. But he got to use the internet when it wasn't mainstream available. So he was just geeking out down there. Like, they had satellites and everything available there. So you would have loved it in the 90s.
Because you know that like 95% of couples that have IVF choose to have twins because they're like, let's just get 2 kids over and done with.
I thought that it was, if you implant more eggs, you have a better chance of having
Yeah.
a surviving an embryo.
They usually do. They take into account that some will not survive, and that's why twins can. But yeah,
Multiple births are quite common in IVF. And I
But
think, yeah.
the couples are usually just like, hey, twins.
And they're
bonus.
not. They don't. I don't think they're identical twins. They're fraternal, and I think it's just that
Most
that
of them
implanting
are
of more
fraternal.
because it doesn't take.
I feel IVF
Very
is
often.
cheapening the what everything being a twin stands for, because it used to be a little,
Everyone's a-
I went
something
to,
that happened, and now it's been cheapened.
I went to school with one of the world's and I say one of because he was one of the first group of IVF quadtuplets. So he was one of 4 brothers, identical
Whoa.
brothers.
Did they all survive? Mm-hmm. That's
Although
impressive.
only one of them went to our school, so I never met the other 3.
Why?
I don't know.
They probably wanted to differentiate the
I
family.
think
by sending
maybe
them to
he got
different-
in because I went to a Perth one that was at the time was just a musical, not.
Oh, you were at Perth Mod. Well, that
Yeah.
would be why then, because you have to apply. They were all stuck in.
Well,
the
in
high
my
school.
day, it just you live in Leadville. That's your local school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
did maths and science, so in 8, 9, 10, I had to go to Swanbourne. to go.
Oh, we had kids at our school who were like, "We're escaping. We're going to Perth Modern."
Oh, well, like I said,
The promised
people I
land.
grew up with came from Armidale because Armidale had like a music program, didn't they? The Armidale.
Yeah, Mrs. Atkinson, thank you for that. Saved some kids from teen pregnancy.
But you never got to go. You never made the cut.
I was the lazy, demoted first violinist, so no, I didn't even
Oh, really?
apply.
We could have been like the younger girl at our school that we flirted with and was like, hey, is she technically juvie? I don't know.
Oh, no. I was not the girl anyone flirted with in high school. I was a chubby sight to behold. I was not attractive. People see photos of me now and are shocked that it's the same
You
person.
made it this far?
Actu-
Don't downplay yourself to audience.
No. I'll bring
We
a photo
need
of
you
my
to be
sister
sexy.
in.
That's the selling point of this podcast. Is
Well, no, but I was fat and ugly in high
well,
school,
I'm
so I
not
had to
lying
grow
either.
a
I'm like-
personality. So it's a perk. It meant I didn't become a hot bitch. I couldn't have been a hot
That's
bitch.
a good idea.
I wanted to be so desperately, but just wasn't hot.
High school.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Memories blocked from my mind.
This has been Fangin' Around. You can find the show notes for this episode at fangaround.com. I'm James. I'm joined by Rhett. Do you have an internet presence yet, Rhett? No.
Not
that he wants to
really,
publicise? No.
No.
Disappointing.
I have none.
You can find Natalie on Twitter. I'll link to her in the show notes.
Yes.
This has
That's
been the
been-
Fangin' Around podcast. We'll catch you next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Good night.